Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Series E Apex Legends Pro Night. My name is Yeso, your host for tonight as we keep Intel Week rolling. We had an awesome night of action last night, CLG dominant, and looking to maybe do much the same here tonight, but it'll certainly be a tough lobby here today because it is Pro Night, some of the best squads in North America coming out to compete with our partnered teams. 6 games ahead of us here tonight. I cannot wait to get into the fun. Now, though, for those of you that are new, I want to break down just how Series E works so everybody's on the same page before we jump into the action here. Now, Series E is a professional esports open circuit that absolutely anyone can join, okay? And it's across multiple different titles. We've got Halo Infinite, Guilty Gear Strive, and of course, Apex Legends. Now, the way that it works, players and teams come out, they play in our open qualifiers, and the best of the best make it into Series E. Now, what does that mean for them? Well, players will get the opportunity to sign a contract, they'll get signed by one of our partnered brands, they'll get a monthly salary, and they get to compete for points and prize money every single week. In Apex Legends, it's every Tuesday night against other open squads, just like they used to be themselves, and then every Wednesday against some of the best pros from all across North America. So, if you and your friends want to get in on the fun, head over to matchareno.com/ESA to sign up. You can also use exclamation point sign up in Twitch chat, which I think is over there, to get the link that you need, and head over to esportsarena.com if you have any further questions. Now, that's out of the way. A couple more things before we jump into some fun stuff. One, it's Intel Week here, Intel Gamer Days, and that means we're doing more giveaways. We gave away a couple of awesome 5 terabyte hard drives last night from our friends at Intel, Fire Seagate, and Fire CUDA. I got a couple more prizes here for you tonight, so make sure to stick around all throughout the show, okay? We're gonna give away 2 brand spanking new 12th generation Intel Core i5 processors. Make sure you're just around, you're in chat, you're hanging out, you're enjoying the show. You will get a chance to win these 2 processors tonight, so make sure to be around for that, okay? I will remind you a couple more times throughout tonight's show. We'll give those away a little bit later. Now, before we get into our Apex action here tonight, we're going to have a little bit of a fun game here to play at the top of the show, and it's called Deal or Steal. Let's bring up the rules for the folks at home so I can break down how things work, and then I will bring in my guest. Now, I have 20 Apex crates to play with here with a range of incredible prizes. I will bring my guest in. They will pick a crate off the top of the show to set aside. We'll hold on to that one for a little while. We will then go through multiple different rounds, opening up crates, eliminating prizes off the board. At the end of each round, I will have an offer, a deal, you may say, for my contestant. If they decide to take it, they take the prize, they head home, they move on with their day. If they say no, if they decide to steal, we keep playing until we get to the end. If they refuse all of my deals, we will open up their crate at the end of the show, and they will win what is inside. And if you're in chat, feel free. You want to give them some advice, tell them what crates to pick, jump into chat all throughout the game. But let's bring my guest in here today. Of course, it's Intel Week, so only right that we have one of our newest members of Series E here joining me on the show today. We've got Icy joining us here. Icy, how we doing, my man?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here.
That is good to hear. I'm glad to have you here. Let's bring the board up for you. You can see our game here today, a range of awesome prizes. Got some Series E merch, got some stuff from our partners, some Apex coins. But the big boy you're looking at, bottom right of your screen, brand new Vizio flat panel television. We'll see if you can hunt that one down. But the question here off the top, 1 through 20, what's your lucky number? Because we got to set one of these crates aside to start the game.
Go with box number 2.
Number 2. Okay, we'll set aside number 2 for Icy here off the top. We kick off round 1. We've got to open 9 crates and cross out some prizes. So Icy, one by one, let's just start running through them. We'll open up some crates, see what's inside.
Just go with, start with 20.
Okay, number 20. Let's find out. Start the show strong again. If you're in chat, you want to give Icy some good or bad advice, feel free to throw it in the chat. First one right off the bat, the Razer Wireless Black Shark V2 Pros. The good thing, there's still one more available, so, you know, all is not lost.
All right. This kind of hurts a little bit, but let's go with 15.
definitely not the ideal start to the game, but we'll see if we can find some redemption inside of crate number 15. let's find out what we have inside of that one. It's going to be here, the Nerf Elite 2.0 Blaster. We have a handful of those around the office. This is pretty fun. I mean, I'm out here trying to pretend like I'm using the Kraber IRL in the office, just firing at my coworkers in the middle of the day. It's a good time. It's a good time. Appreciate our friends at Nerf. 2 down, 7 more to go, Icy.
Let's go with 5.
Number 5, okay. Headed back into the single digits. We're getting better so far as it goes along. Maybe we can find another white tier prize inside number 5. And yes, we can. The Mike and Ike Mega Mix Sour. You're getting it rolling here, Icy. Good job there. What's next?
18.
18, okay. Let's see if we can keep this good luck train moving. Crate number 18 inside of that one is a $50 Walmart gift card. That one's okay though, because again, another Walmart gift card on the board, so we're still doing really well here, Icy.
All right. Let's go with 12.
Number 12, okay. Hit that third row for the first time. Let's see, do we have another white tier prize hiding inside of number 12? We do. It's a Series E dad hat. Very nice pickup there for Icy. Okay.
3.
Number 3. Our 6th crate here of round number 1. 3 more to go after this one. And inside that, 2,150 Apex coins. Okay.
How many more in this round?
3 more. 3 more this round.
More. All right, let's go with 17.
Let's do it. Number 17. 18 treated us well earlier. Let's see if 17 can do much the same. The Nerf Ultra Blaster. Very nice. Another white tier prize off the table, keeping the big boys available. Vizio TV still on the board. You absolutely love to see that. 2 more to go, Icy, before my first deal.
All right, let's get one out of here.
Number 1, okay. See if we can paint the corners here and do a good job. 20 wasn't the greatest pick off the top, but an Esports Arena mystery box there inside of number 1 is just fine. Okay. And I believe we need one final one here, Icy. What do you got?
Let's get 6 out of here.
Okay, 6 was looking at Icy funny. Says get it off the table. I couldn't agree more. What do we got inside of crate number 6? It's another Series E dad hat. So, a bit of a tough start. You hunted down one of the Razer headsets right off the bat, but you stabilized really quickly. You hit 5 of the 8 white tier prizes, Icy, so well done. My first deal here for you today. It's going to be an okay one. We're going to head to the blue tiers. I got 2,150 Apex coins with your name on them. I don't know if you have completed your heirloom collection yet, but I'd like to help you do so. What are you thinking here?
You know, I just got my first heirloom playing ESA, like right before an ESA tourney the other day, or a few weeks ago. But I'm good. I'm going to pass on that.
Okay. Icy says deal. What heirloom did you pick?
Deal. I gotta go with the Gibby heirloom. I had to, you know.
I'm
just a Gibby player.
I respect it. I respect it. Makes a lot of sense. I'm here for it. Okay, so 2,150 Apex coins. Icy says no. He says steal. We're gonna keep playing. Okay, round 2, 6 crates to go. Where are we starting?
11.
11. Okay. Let's see what we got inside of crate number 11. Let's start round 2 stronger than the last. The other $50 Walmart gift card. That one stings a little bit. You know, you could go get a lot of Mike and Ike boxes with that one, but that's okay. We're still in business.
Let's get 4.
Number 4. Okay, let's wipe out the rest of that top row. Just setting number 2 aside at the start. Number 4, inside of that one, we've got a Series E jersey of your choice. That Intel jersey, it's looking pretty nice, you know? Not a bad team. 2nd place.
Would have been nice, but. All right.
Two
Let's
down.
go 13.
Okay. Is 13 a lucky number? Or does it burn my icy friend here today? Let's find out. It's got 6,700 Apex coins. That's a lot of shots at heirlooms. That one stings a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
All right. Still got some things.
There's still some good stuff up there. Another headset, the TV, Esports Arena Mystery Box, and who knows, you play it well enough, I could offer you one of those prizes that's crossed off. You never know what happens. I'm kind of freewheeling it up here, Icy.
True. Let's get 8 out of here.
Okay. Number 8. Second row. What do we find inside? We've got, the dagger in round 2, the Vizio 55-inch 4K UHD Smart TV.
That hurts.
That one hurt me as much as it hurt you, Icy. I was holding out for you. I was hoping maybe it was hiding inside of number 2. Was not to be, but the Razer headset's still available, so we're still in an okay spot. I need you to pick 2 more crates before my next deal.
Let's do 19. Start off with that one. Just give her the bottom row.
Okay. Say goodbye to row 5, ladies and gents. Hopefully, let's not say goodbye to row 5 of the prizes, and we don't, because it's a Series E jersey of your choice. Good recovery there after finding the Vizio television. Last crate now of round 2. Let's finish on a high note. There's 3 white tier prizes up there. I need you to tell me where one of them is, Icy.
It's definitely in box 10.
Definitely in box 10. Icy confident. Calling his shot. I'm all about it. Let's find out. Can we end on a high note here in round 2? Yes, we can. It's a Tyson t-shirt, and it is off the table here. We started rough in round 1, but you finished strong. Little bit of a mixed bag here in round 2. Gonna be honest, finding that Vizio TV is going to sting. My offer to you here going to change up a little bit. I was talking about him. I'm a big fan. We have a lot of fun with him around the office. I got a Nerf blaster for you. I got that Nerf Elite 2.0. You can have fun with the homies at home. Mess around, little sharpshooting in the back. What are you thinking? Are we taking a deal or do you want to keep playing? Important to remember, if you say no to my deal here, we will open 3 more crates. I will have one final deal for you. If you don't take that deal as well, we open crate number 2. So what are you thinking?
I'm really holding out for that headset.
Okay. Okay. Hey.
Got a deal.
I can respect it. Icy, you're playing the long game here. You're still in this. So let's say steal here. No Nerf Elite 2.0. We'll set that one aside. Save that for another player. That is A-okay. So 7, 9, 14, 16. 3 have got to go. Icy, what are you feeling?
9.
Number 9. Okay, sticking to the single digits for now. Close out that 3rd row. What do we've got inside crate number 9? It's the Mike and Ike Mega Mix. That's exactly what we're looking for.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go with 16.
You don't sound so sure about that one, Icy. I'm hoping.
No, let's go 14. Let's go 14.
14. He says 14. We're changing it up. I could tell Icy wasn't feeling confident about that 16 pick. Let's see if 14 pays off. It is the Esports Arena Mystery Box. That's not a headset. Icy is happy to see that one. Okay. 7 or 16. How are you feeling now?
7. We'll give it a 7.
Okay. Let's do it. Number 7. Hopefully not that Razer headset. Icy wants to go the distance. It's the 2,100 Apex coins. Exactly what you are looking for. So,
okay.
Now, you put me in a very interesting position here, Icy, because there's either a headset or, interestingly enough, an Intel zip-up hoodie, which, would be very on brand. So to me, it feels like a win-win if you open crate number 2. But my deal for you here, my deal for you here, it's going to pull up a little bit. With that Razer headset still being on the table, I'm going to throw 6,700 Apex coins your way. And I am curious, is that enough to make you second guess opening crate number 2? Take your time, think about it. What are you feeling? If you say no, we're just cracking that puppy open.
You know, Apex coins would be pretty nice.
Sure.
But my headset's falling apart. I gotta risk it. I gotta risk it.
I respect it, Icy. You said it with my first deal. You were playing for the long haul. You were gunning for the big prizes. Steal, he says. And now, 2 crates remaining. Let's see. Right off the bat, you set aside number 2. What will we find inside? Is it the Razer headset? Is it those wonderfully comfortable Black Sharks? I can sing their praises for days. Let's find out. Let's crack it open, production. What do we got inside of crate number 2? Drum roll in chat. It is, yes, the Razer Wireless Black Shark V2 Pros. Icy, you've got a new headset coming your way. And, you know, certainly, Razer's a partner of ours. You know, part of my job is to sing their praises, but as somebody who wears that exact headset at his desk every day, I also have a Razer headset at home. Super comfortable, very light. That's a big thing for me. I've worn those like heavy headsets where I feel like my neck hurts after like a long gaming session because it's just so heavy on my head. And I'm just like, these are super comfy, super light, good quality. I think you're going to be happy with them. I think it's going to, you know, maybe level up that Series E game a little bit. You know, maybe you'll actually hear some footsteps around you. I know that audio could be a little shaky, my man.
One can only hope in Apex.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Real quick before I let you go, quick question going into tonight. Of course, kind of an adjustment for you guys coming in the middle of the season to represent Intel. I know that first week wasn't what you guys were hoping for, but the last couple weeks, it seems like you guys have really settled in and kind of found your form. What do you think has been the biggest contributor to you guys just really looking strong these last couple of weeks?
You know, there was that huge like span where custom lobbies were broken.
Sure.
And then right after that, there was a period of time where we just couldn't play together. Mm-hmm. So when we came back in and started doing ESA, it was a little bit rocky start. Didn't have a lot of practice. Just getting back into it, playing together, figuring stuff back out, getting the comms down, and just relearning the game together has been really good for us.
Okay. Hey, it looked good last night. It looked good last week. I'm looking forward to more from y'all tonight. Of course, it's Intel Week, so, you know, the spotlight gets a little bright here, but best of luck to you and the squad here tonight, and thank you so much again for, you know, taking the time to come and hang out with us today, and congrats on the win.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that is Icy, one of the new representatives of Team Intel here in Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. Keep an eye on them here tonight because, of course, we're right in the heart of Intel Week, and they'll probably put on a pretty good show for you. They certainly have as of late. I think we're ready to go. We got a couple of good friends of mine. We got Jamerson and T-Squared on the cast today. They'll be bringing you all the action, and I'll be here to break things down in between as always. Cannot wait to get into the fun, and let's not waste any more time. We're kicking off another night here of Series E Apex Legends.
You are the...
Hey, welcome everybody.
Series E Apex Legends.
All of World's Edge explodes into chaos, and G2 around the corner, taking what is rightfully there.
War with our Ashe player Musin follows, and it's going to quickly switch to the Peacekeeper, putting down damage quick as
that Fury starts it off with the devotion and does so much work. May have single-handedly clutched it for Vizio, and with the last shotgun shot, does it?
Let's get the games underway, man. I'm ready to go. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Series E. This is Pro Night for Apex Legends, and it is, of course, Intel Week. Last night, though, it was CLG and Team Mike and Ike that were popping off. Tom, welcome back. I am so glad to have you. You even got your puppy in the back there. It's going to be an amazing week.
I think he's just lingering around for this chicken that I just ate, and you know, does he even like me? I don't know. It's gonna be a great night. Glad Rocco could make an appearance in there, and I love when we start off with Dealer Steal and we get a big dub, because I've always been wondering what happens to your mental after you get the mystery box, after you get stuck with not taking the deal, But getting that Razer headset is big. Congratulations to Icy. It's time to focus now, though. This lobby is going to be absolutely stacked. I can't wait to get these games underway and see who's going to be popping off in Pro Night tonight.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on tonight. We have 6 matches that will be taking place. 3 of them will be played on World's Edge and 3 of them on Stormpoint. We have $2,000 on the line as well, with second place walking away with $800 of that $2,000, but the lion's share, $1,200 to first place. And like we said, it's only the top 2 that'll be placing, so you need to be able to get those points. It's going to be from placements and from kill points as well. Placements starting at 15th place every single game, all the way up to first, which will net you 12 points overall, and every single kill point will be 1 point as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the teams that will be competing this week for Pro Night. Of course, we have our partnered squads and our Esports Arena team to try and stem the kind of momentum that we see a lot of our pro squads coming in with, because this is a stacked lobby. We got G2 in with the new boy Chaotic, who has been popping off for the past few weeks since they've been playing with him. So that's going to be an exciting roster to look at. We got Cloud9 as well, Renegades, Sentinels, TSM back in the house after their break in Japan, and we've got that new roster of Albralele, Slurp, and Reptar. That is one that's going to be absolutely fun to watch.
It is. I mean, you have so many different, changes in terms of the teams that are coming in here that this is a great opportunity, again, to prove yourself in Series E, to get practice, establish what your team's meta is going to be. And it's, it's awesome to see teams like C9, TSM, NRG, G2, Complexity, CLG, all these heavy hitters that we're used to seeing are here. And it's going to be just, again, the highest level of Apex that you're really ever going to see. And it's, to me, an opportunity for the partner teams to step their game up and prove themselves, right? The new Team Intel roster got a chance to play with Turns today on Nerf. He was playing really well all day today. Esports Arena, how are they going to do? So many different varieties and play styles that are coming forward here. And also just legend compositions. That's something that you always have to look forward to. What's going to be the shift? Are we going to see less Maggie, less Vantage? It seems like everyone's still kind of falling back on over to Horizon, Valkyrie, and Seer. I still think those are the 3 S-tier legends. We'll see what everyone else picks.
Yeah, it's super important because right now during the offseason until year 3 of ALGS starts, we're still kind of in this area where teams are afforded a bit more leeway and try to test out some new compositions, not just running that same, like you said, Seer, Horizon, and Valkyrie meta, right? And so we are seeing some caustics being used. We're seeing some new castles being utilized as well. I think from Mike and Ike, an interesting pickup, actually swapping out the Valkyrie for the Ashe was an interesting thing for them that did actually end up working out, where they came in second overall throughout our open night, keeping pace with CLG. Speaking of which, CLG are here as well. No exit, so we don't really expect to see a 50-50 for them. But let's go ahead and set the stakes. We have about a month left of Series E here, and so time is running out for our teams to try and secure a spot at the top of the leaderboard to avoid relegations. Right now, the teams that are feeling rather comfortable, it's going to be Excedrin, Vizio, and Intel. All have broken the 800-point threshold, but we still have Nerf and Tyson right behind them. And with Mike and Ike having the performance that they did last night during our open night, they are starting to bolster their chances at being able to avoid relegation.
Yeah, they've been playing pretty good. All of these teams, the partner teams, are playing phenomenal. I think this is the most talented group of individuals and teams that we've had since the beginning of Series E, and we're in Season 5 now. So watch out for these teams on the bottom that are trying to take their spot, and that's why the pressure has been really on Intel. And I think that they stepped it up, the last 2 weeks especially, putting up some big points, showing that they're here to play, proving themselves at a really, really high level. And I think it was just last Pro Night last week that they were leading the pack after the first couple of games. I think once we switched on over to Stormpoint, they're right in that top 3 area, which is really exciting for them because, yeah, you can go and play an open night and gather your points, etc., but realistically, you want to play when these lobbies are stacked as they are. And we're looking at teams that are kind of missing. I'm sad that the old Esports Arena team isn't in here because that's when they really took their game to the next level, coming in, playing in Series E, and now they're Optic Gaming. So I really hope over the next month or so that maybe they're on like a little break right now, maybe they didn't make it in tonight, but I would love to see Optic Gaming come back and play in Series E where they kind of got their start.
Yeah, I would love to see Optic, of course, all the time. Again, it's been an amazing journey so far. I mean, the amount of talent that we've been able to try and support over the last few years of running Series E. Optic Gaming, that entire roster. Verholst now on TSM, picking up another esports arena team as well to try and push them forward hopefully throughout the next Pro League as well. It seems like, if you support the players, they tend to do better for some odd reason. I don't know what it is, Tom. It's like maybe giving them some sort of salary and some sort of semblance of stability actually helps a player get better, and especially a team at that. And I think that's one of the hardest things when it comes to playing Apex Legends as a free agent or, a player that's just looking for a team. It's just, for a while, there was a long time where you just consistently could not have a team. We were seeing players and rosters constantly forming and reforming new squads essentially every few months.
And you brought up a great point is, the support system's always been huge, and that's what makes Series E really special, because not only are you, getting support monetarily, but you're getting support in terms of getting a contract for X amount of time. And that's really important because when you talk about the team changes and turnover, setting a goal for your team is really big. So you say, hey, we're going to see this through for, 3 months, 4 months, a quarter of the year, and let's see where we go from there. And that could do wonders for people in terms of setting goals as a team.
Yeah, right now it seems like our first lobby of the day has already crashed. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break while we get our players back in for a new lobby. And once we do, we will get started off on the first game of Pro Night here for Intel Week. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back right after this break. All right, welcome back to Series E. We got the lobby reset, and we are straight into the thick of things. Atlanta Premier off the 50-50 up the rip here, and it looks like they're going to get the first knock. That's Team Nerf going down initially, and we're already down to 18 squads here, Tom.
Yeah, two 50-50s off the rip. Got a 50-50 that happened between Sentinels and TSM. Verholz clutching it out with 10 HP. Thank you, Yeso, for that info. But now ASR starting to move in. Love that window angle coming through from Albarelli. And how is this player alive? Nice shots and nice plays. It's interesting to also see him busting out the Watson, something we haven't seen in Series Z from him, or just in general ever.
Yeah, Muffins and Luxford down in this fight as well. And so we're about to be down to 17th. Complexity are now out. Here we are at 17 squads. So it seems like a lot of teams just kind of changing up their drop spots here as we get our first look at the ring. Pulling up towards Epicenter now. Be surprised if this ends up being an Epicenter ending. I'm expecting more towards that bridge to the northeast between them and Climatizer. And Cloud9, though, a squad that typically wants to try and find some fights on the edges. I don't know how exactly they're going to manage this one, but we are now starting to get the rotates out. TSM down at Lava Siphon. That is such an interesting one. But yeah, Esports Arena now making the rotation up. They are trying to get center zone as quickly as possible with this Crypto Watson composition. And with it pulling towards Epicenter, they can really play that sniper post extremely well.
It's so interesting just to watch the amount of Watsons that are coming into play, and it's really interesting to see what everyone decides to run with it, right? Now, Clean, he's been rocking Crypto for quite some time now. It's awesome to see players like Albarelli bring that in. And, ooh, nice little purple armor right there for Fury. But I completely agree. They're going to be in a great position just to continue to lock things down over here. And it's funny to see TSM switch things up and say, hey, we've been landing Frag East for a really long time. The rotations from Lava Siphon aren't going to be much different. And the loot at Lava Siphon is absolutely ridiculous. So going for a spot that is going to give them better armors, better weapon choices, etc. You know, you're not even getting a crafter over towards Fragment East. You never know if you're even going to get the beacon that's spawning over there. So Lava Siphon, a much stronger POI, and watching that fight for Sentinels is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, it's just so interesting just because, you know, a lot of people used to herald Sentinels as one of the best teams in the world. Hold on just a moment. Team Esports Arena on their rotate into Epicenter, end up losing out on Fury. And up top, unfortunately enough, and he's really their only option. Actually, no, never mind. They've got Claim. They've got a drone, so they can actually get up there, pick up that banner, and get him res back on up. But I don't know if that drone's going to be able to get in to pick that one up. So it's just really unfortunate. Team Esports Arena did have that idea of trying to play that sniper post. And unfortunately, they got beat out in terms of priority for it.
Tough rotation coming forward right there, but I do think that they're going to try to find a spot to do that, and that's exactly what Clayton's doing. Phony's going to go and hit the cover over here, probably set some fences at the top of the zip line. Great teamwork coming in from Esports Arena to try to get Fury back in on this one. Problem is, lose out on that purple armor, lose out on a lot of your loot pool overall, and setting up inside of the zone for a res, always very difficult. Could create a huge domino chain reaction. Third, fourth parties coming in over towards the ASR side. They're making the rotation in as well, and they already got their early points, so they're trying to set up with the Newcastle, get the gens down if you're out, really give you some extra charges on your fences. And it's weird to see such a strong Newcastle player like Albarelli go and toss that one on over towards Slurpee G, so he must be feeling really confident on Watson.
No, I think, you know, having someone that's strong to be able to play quite possibly, I'm imagining G7 Scout 3030 for Slurpee G to try and get the long-range snipes. That's why they've got that interception pylon down so early. First, of course, for Albarelli to build up the security perimeter, and then also build up another ultimate, but also for them to now start trading away and start building up those evil shields for themselves, because they are starting to play heavy inside the center zone for Rack Attack. It's hard to tell who these players are. Donald Duck, Battle Frog. Why are you guys doing this to us? They've got control over the engineering shop here with that beacon on top of it as well, so they can play this one for quite some time and relatively safely. They've got the Gibraltar, so the scans are going to be basically free for them. So it's great to see that, you know, this old meta composition isn't quite dead yet.
We definitely know Rakanushu's on this team, and he's most likely Donald Duck. That's my guess. We know that he's a really nasty Gibby, But who's the other player, the mystery player? We'll have to go and take a look at our notes on that one, Jamerson, or maybe someone in the chat could help us out. That's one of the fans of the Rack Attack. But they're right next to NRG, setting up with new member Gilderson over here, and they got that composition that we were talking about in terms of what the strongest 3 legends currently are. It's debatable on which legends are the strongest, but in terms of offering the most to your team, even with the nerfs, Valkyrie's still really strong. Seer, extremely strong. TSM has not even left Lava Siphon yet, so talk about waiting and claiming your POI, Jamerson. They may not even leave the POI. They may just die here.
No, this is important because, like, TSM, when we first knew TSM, they were the rotation kings. They were the guys that played the macro, that were the first to center zone. But now, of course, changing things up, they are leaving themselves a bit more open to playing on edge. And the fact that they took the 50-50 means they're going to lose out on priority on teams around them. There were already maybe 4 or 5 teams that could get to Epicenter with priority on the rotate, but then being slowed down by that 50-50 that they ended up taking, you end up losing out priority on about 3 or 4 more other squads. So yeah, they might as well just take their time here, maybe find another edge. Maybe there's a slow team rotating in from the south side from launch side or such. But it looks like NRG were actually able to bully away now, and now they have access to this beacon scan for themselves.
I don't know, this beacon scan seems a little scary. I mean, Nathan's up there checking it out and stuff, but that's the point of the beacon scan, right? Everyone's just like, oh, they're going to scan. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. All of a sudden, boom, 3, 2, 1, you're donezo. So Nathan's going to probably try to body block over here. Great job pulling up the map over here from our OBS team. Get an opportunity to see who's all in the zone and who's going to be struggling to get in. Look at that north side, northwest over there where Tyson and Vizio are, ASR, Razor with a lot of kill opportunities, CLG with a lot of kill opportunities as well.
Yeah, basically what we were expecting out of this ring pool, not for it to actually go into Epicenter. I feel like those Epicenter rings are actually quite rare. Something about this open ground between Epicenter and Overlook seems to have a very strong pull on the ring. Speaking of late rotations, TSM are still kind of hovering around. You actually spot out a squad coming out from Fragment East now. And so they might be rewarded for this low rotate if they want to take the fight. They've already got the +3 up against Sentinels. They could try and find another one here.
Nice shots there with the 1-2 on the Scout, which is not a sight that you're looking forward to using, but you're going to take it. And now with this type of composition, you're looking to take fights. Hal with the shots, the turbocharged Havoc, and the Scout in his back pocket. Interesting to see them rocking double Scout over here, but this is what this composition really specializes in. You get the scans, you get the Seer all going down. Everybody knows that you can just push in and go for the kills, and Reps is going to start off big time with the PK.
Yeah, Rack Attack are trying their best to turtle up right now with the cost of gas, and it is slowing them down. Bubble has been used, so they might have been able to get the bubble res. No, not quite yet. And so Valkyrie's still bleeding out, and Reps is just waiting this one out. Arcstar in onto the downed player, and now you got Imperial Hal pushing up with Reps throughout this Thor to 88 crack. That's going to be the Gibraltar going down. Now TSM on the verge of picking up their 6th kill point here so early on in the game.
And you're just delaying the inevitable at that point, and hopefully another team comes in third party TSM. That's the only way you would go and get that one. And the third party is coming. It's just a little bit late. It's Atlanta Premier. They didn't see any knocks, though, so they know that this is still a straight-up 3v3 as Protectful gets eliminated from Kimchi Lee. But great infiltration coming in from TSM again. That's what that composition really specializes in. They want to take those fights. Yeah, Caustic is good in holding buildings, but when you got Reps hitting with the PK like that, there is zero chance. But I love Reps on an aggressive legend like that. He's been stuck on these defensive characters far too long. Now it's an opportunity for TSM to play aggressive. Great start for them already with 6 kill points.
Renegades in a fight up against Team Esports Arena. Intel actually involved in this one as well, coming in for the third party. Oxygen's Oi Senpai ends up getting the knock from the long range. So a lot of teams involved here. I don't know if they can quite push it yet. Team Intel are stuck at the bottom of this ravine. So you really don't want to try and leave this train because you can easily get yourself caught out. IC does have that bubble though, but it looks like just the pressure is there from the nades. So that's going to put a stop to Team Intel from trying to chase after more here. We are now down to 15 squads, 43 players left. So it's not as fast of a gameplay that we have been seeing out of our Seer meta for the past month and a half or so. Team Intel not running the Seer themselves, though. They do have that Loba, so that's going to allow them actually to pick up some of this free loot off of that third party they were able to pick up.
It's just interesting, though, because there's not as many Seers as I was expecting. And TSM's mopped 2 out of these 5 teams. So looking at Excedrin, what they're playing, this is another very, very interesting comp that's popular in rank. The double scan meta coming in with Horizon. It's tough, though, if you're not able to get those Valkyrie rotations. So, again, you are definitely looking for fights over here. They've already picked up a couple of kills along the way. Kim Chi Lee being one of those players. But here's another fight for TSM, and let's see if they can take another team down that's camping inside of a building.
And last time we saw them here in Fragment East, it was Atlanta Premier that were looking for the third party, and they might be regretting it already. You can see the HP bars from that Seer, allowing them all that information. Slid on his Verhulst, but he's able to back away, and Hal ends up getting the knock onto 2. It is Atlanta Premier about to get finished off, but they've got to be careful just in case. Mike and Ike were looking for the third party here. MJ getting cracked down. Atlanta Premier are knocked out. Mar is on this Ash to give them the phase bridge, and MJ desperately needs it here. He's been cracked, and he's trying to reconnect with his squad. They will be able to back out, but you can see how dangerous TSM have been. G2 also patrolling the streets of Capital, or well, old Capital here, but they're not going to get involved into this one. G2 have not been able to find much at all this game. They're at least sitting on some pretty armors. They got the purples across the ways, and you know, G2, if they can make to the late game with the armors, with the loot that they want, this is going to be an extremely dangerous squad. Resulta as that G7 scout, basically almost golded out. You have to imagine Designful probably rocking that wingman. Now they're creeping up. They're trying not to make any noise. Maybe they're afraid there's a team above them. Designful should be able to spot that out with his passive.
And then all of a sudden a scan comes in and it's over for them. But yeah, they're just planning on hitting a fat Q over here. Chaotic most likely has his ultimate. There's some shots going on in the vicinity too, so this could be an opportunity to fly up there and maybe hit a third party, as Alberly is most likely calling it quits on over towards where they were previously holding. Sweet gets a knock right there onto Reptar, and this is not looking good for ASR. You want to get inside the zone. You want to set up. They never had that opportunity. Mike and Ike with the rotation now, and they unfortunately don't have a Watson in type of defensive setup, so they need to get out of that trailer ASAP, and then that's the push that G2's been waiting for. They're going to capitalize and come in and take down NRG from behind.
Yeah, this is a third party onto NRG. They are being slowed down just a little bit by the Watson traps, and we have the exhibit up for that Seer, but it should be going down fairly shortly here. We'll see. Designful doesn't quite have an angle on it to clear it, but they at least secure that first onto 1. Nathan falling, and so now NRG are just down to 1. Razor involved in this fight, but they've got that Newcastle res to get Boxa T back on up as they back away. Blake Hugh taking a little bit of ring damage, so does Boxa T, and now comes in a flank. Sang's got to be careful here as the castle wall is set down from Blake from behind, though. Oxy Aries ends up getting the knock here. Sweet trying his best to rat it out for NRG, but he's basically stuck inside of a fishbowl here at the bottom. G2 now coming in for the flank onto Oxy Aries. Now Team Tyson about to fall. It's just dominoes being set down as Tyson will go down in 13th place.
Good timing there from G2. Nice follow-up shots there from Designful with the wingman, and Resulta flying in with the close range controller. Just absolute decimating the teams that were fighting over towards Epicenter. You were not really anticipating that, but Verhulst started this game off hot with their 50-50 going up against Sentinels. He's continuing to heat up, and I love the way that TSM's been playing this. TSM's gone through a lot of just like mini changes throughout all of Apex, but starting off going over towards Lava Siphon after the Fragment East nerfs, etc., could be one of the best minor changes that they've ever made, and I'm so stoked to see what they're going to be able to do with that.
And also, you know, TSM have never been strangers to trying out different compositions, or at least putting people on different legends. I think Hal on Seer is probably one of the scariest things. When your IGL, especially your micro IGL in fights, is able to get the information from those scans, from the heartbeat sensor as well, it just makes him incredibly powerful. He's already one of those players that are just incredibly plugged in when it comes to making these calls, and now he just has perfect information in these fights. Team Excedrin playing out of that perfect information. They're going to go ahead and set up an exhibit of their own. You got the push out from this squad. Oxygen ends up getting eliminated finally by Team Intel, and now we have hit top 10, and now it might be top 9 as Excedrin are about to get into this fight.
G2 continuing to put the pressure on. This time they're hunting down Mike and Ike. They're right on the edge of the zone. Chaotic needs to be able to stay alive here. Huge nade out of nowhere coming in for Sang, and G2 getting dropped, virtually saving Mike and Ike, but Mike and Ike gets dropped immediately after that. Meanwhile, Reps getting dropped as well. Intel gets eliminated. Jamerson, the kill feed just went insane.
Yeah, I was talking about, hey, it might be top 9. No, it is top 5. The Vizio have been knocked out here as Cloud9 are just breathing in the gas. Zach Mason might actually just fall to the gas here. Never mind. It will finally go away just in time. Cloud9 trying their best to stabilize here. Renegades, if they had the Seer Q, if they tag it on to Cloud9, they can just full send it. Here we go. They get the information. But Cloud9 have been able to heal up enough where Renegades just cannot push off of this. It's our final 4 squads. It's going to be a 3v3, v3, v2 with, I believe, Razor as the only 2-man in this lobby here. And we are getting a fairly typical epicenter bridge circle, but this one is actually pulling down a little bit more south than we're used to.
Got to give credit to, obviously, TSM for the way that they've played this one, but also Razor as a duo. They've been doing a pretty good job overall. Now C9 kind of stuck down in no man's land. You can see they're the furthest team away from the zone, so Renegades has to rotate with them. TSM's got the high ground over across and just waiting for these other teams to go and push in. But it looks like, in terms of who has the advantage, it's by far TSM. They have this kind of triple setup where they have a triangle going on. Razor as a duo over to the left really isn't going to be a major concern. And then you know that these two teams, Renegades and C9, have to deal with each other. This should be a TSM win.
Yeah, they do have that crossfire setup. You can see how far Reps is. He's still, you know, kind of defaulting back to just playing an anchor for his squad at times, as it looks like the full send is coming out. C9 trying to push on to Euban and company, but Euban's already taken out one. And so now TSM are just watching on. They already have plenty of kill points. They're not in any real rush to get anything else here. As you can see, all of the teams are just kind of collapsing on each other. And so TSM is the last one to collapse. And that's typically what you're looking for. You're looking to come in for the third party. Cloud9 out in 4th place as Verhulst gets the knock on to Euban, and there it is. Reps takes him out. It's our final 2 teams remaining, and Razor secure the top 2, but they have to fight into a 3v2 versus TSM. TSM pushing forward. Verhulst getting a little bit lost there, but it's okay. Reps is into the thick of things,
Wow.
and TSM starts off the night with a massive victory.
Huge dub. And if you're Sentinels watching that after you lose that 50-50, you're like, man, I think it's time to switch POIs, because I don't think you want to continue to contest TSM, maybe today for fun, but overall, in terms of the ALGS, TSM is picking on Sentinels by going there, and they're picking on the whole lobby after what we just saw. That was a dominating win by TSM.
We didn't. We tried to talk about it, but there was just so much action that was taking place in this game that we really couldn't. But a lot of people have been kind of smelling some weakness, right, in Sentinels, and they have been poking and prodding at them, not just on World's Edge or Stormpoint, but also on like Twitter, on Reddit, everywhere. Sentinels has been a target for everyone so far. So we'll see if they can try and return to form, but TSM feels like they can go ahead and take advantage of this weakness so far.
And it's just a little friendly competition for a POI. Shout out to Razor for getting 2nd place, but this game was all TSM. Remember, they had 2 out of the first 5 teams eliminated were by their hands, and you could see exactly how they love to play this one. Verhulst, one of the best Valkyries that we have in all of Apex. How we know what he's able to do, and I love that point you brought up, Jamerson, where if you give him information, he's going to be able to lead his team to victory. And now Reps doesn't have to sit there and play defensive and, you know, worry about a legend that, you know, doesn't really showcase how talented you really could be. Horizon, yeah, we know that, you know, there's been some minor nerfs. There's been minor nerfs to Valkyrie as well. But this composition, that's what it's all about. It's all about infiltrating buildings, taking fights, setting up when you need to make rotations, getting high ground when you need to. And they couldn't really execute that any better than they did right there.
Yeah, great win for TSM. Don't know exactly how many kills they got at the end there, but they were already sitting at about 10, maybe 11 kill points before the end of that game. So I'm really excited to see what happens on the Mobile One leaderboard for our first Mobile One leaderboard of the evening. But for now, we're going to go ahead and send it on over to Yeso to break down game number 1 for us.
it was in fact the TSM show, front to back there in game number 1. They were dominant and grabbed a very clean close there, taking out Team Razor to grab the win. And interesting, kind of a couple of notes that jump out to me. First of all, Hal no longer being on the Valkyrie. I think it was going into Split 2. I remember they switched the Valkyrie off of Verhulst onto Hal. They felt like it better enabled Hal to IGL the game, move the team around when he had that ultimate at his disposal. But putting Verhulst back on a pick that he's incredibly comfortable with, and of course the one that really he burst onto the scene with, really kind of enabling Verhulst to play aggressively. Of course, the Volt being ground loot is very much a Verhulst buff there, but TSM looked really good, playing aggressively, and it shows on the scoreboard there. They pick up 18 kills, almost a third of the lobby taken down by TSM alone, and Verhulst leading the way in damage, tied there with Hal at 7 kills apiece. But the squad looked really damn good in this one. They were feeling very confident, leaning on that gas pedal, and it definitely paid off in this game. We also got a really good look at Verhulst with that scout in the late circle, just poking away at C9 and Renegades, doing a lot of good work, setting his team up to clean up those squads, and it was really well played there from TSM. Let's take a look though at our mobile one high performance moment here to kick off the day from game number 1, and it's very likely to be a TSM play, and of course it will be. And this is of course Reps hunting down, just sees Euban there right over the rock, able to clean up that final kill, and this just makes it easy. You've got the 3v2 over Razor. TSM, I would say, smartly play it a little slow because there's a good distance between their squad and Reps. They just play it a little patiently, allow Reps to get into the area, and then go in for the kill and clean it up. So well played there from TSM, understanding that, look, respect your opponents there. You never know, if you take that straight 2v2, something could happen. They get a knock and then, a quick finish and an armor swap, and it totally changes the complexion of this fight. So good on both Hal and Verhulst here, playing it a little slow, biding the time for Reps to get into the area, and as soon as they know they have the backup, they go right in and they clean up Razor very cleanly. So just good calling there from Hal and the squad, and they play that aggression very well, pick up a huge win. So well played from the squad there. They will of course be at the top of our Mobile One leaderboard here when we come back, but 30 points, that's a hell of a start from TSM. The question is, if that keeps rolling here through the first half, can anybody catch up to them? Hell, can Sentinels, do they switch the drop spot? Can they win the 50-50? We'll find out when we come back.
When the chicken is this crispy and this tasty, it doesn't matter what else is for dinner. Tyson crispy strips are so delicious, they'll be your favorite part of every meal. More crispy chicken, more family faves, more to love. Tyson.
Now, even the biggest headaches are toast.
Excedrin keeps your head in the game.
For no more throbbing noggins.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Welcome back to Series E. Just before the break, it was TSM that took the 30-bomb win in game number 1. So I was wondering, how many kills did they had? Well, they had 18. What an absolute monstrous game number 1 for TSM, Tom.
I don't think they're going to slow down unless they lose that 50-50, just like Yeso was talking about. And Sentinels is going to have to put on their try-hard pants, because 31 points, that is a massive, massive game. So 19 overall instead of 18. You love to see it. Again, Team Razor, good job scraping up some points where they could, since CSM took them all, playing as that duo, getting 13 overall. Excited to see what happens in game 2.
And it's important because when we saw Team Razor actually losing out on their third member, it happened around maybe 10 11 players remaining. They slid down back into Epicenter, lost out on one, and somehow were able to kind of survive that scramble. Part of it was due to G2 coming in from behind and taking out one of the teams that was pinching them. So it was a good response to them, and overall, somehow, they end up out-surviving G2, who looked like they were starting to fire up themselves, but G2 only netting themselves 6 points. We'll see, though, if they can pick things up. But this is going to be important because now with TSM dropping there at Lava Siphon, it does kind of change the dynamic of the entire map. There's opportunities for G2 and TSM to fight really early on. Excedrin have to be worried about rotating into TSM. This has major implications for a large portion of the lobby, as it looks like we do have game number 2 now setting up. As a quick note, unfortunately, ESA will be playing it out as a 2-man for game number 2, so hopefully they can get their third on back, but we are about to enter into Legend Select in just a moment. World's Edge, again, I love we still get to play old Classico here in World's Edge, just because it seems like this is where we have probably the most stability when it comes to legend picks and meta kind of evolving there. It's a slower evolution in terms of the gameplay for World's Edge.
I agree. I also look forward to Stormpoint, though, just because, you know, we brought this up in the past that the players are still learning Stormpoint. We're still learning Stormpoint. We know how long World's Edge has been around, but I can't wait to watch the rotations develop, the setups develop. And when you watch the pro players play on Stormpoint, they're just so good at it, they kind of mask the fact that they don't really necessarily know everything. But when we talk about knowing everything in World's Edge, these guys know the rotations. They know plays way before it even happens, the circle knowledge, etc., etc. Stormpoint zones are easier to kind of pick, but here we go. Game number 2. Excited to see what happens over towards Lava Siphon. We have two 50-50s in game number 1, kind of anticipating the same thing as we jump on board with TSM here very shortly.
I am keeping an eye on that dropship right now. TSM have already left it, and I'm seeing if Sentinels, yep, they are basically flying stacked on top of each other. TSM, for a team now dropping over at Lava Siphon, there are a lot of things you need to learn, and one of the most important ones, especially off the 50-50, is to play as together as a team. There's the armor swap, 2 members dropping onto Hal, and he's done a lot of damage, but Verhos is here with the PK himself to trade back. I don't know if Crust actually has a gun for himself. There's a blue armor that he has to deal with. Now Rep's coming in. He's got the Prowler. He's got a Sentinel as well. Not quite what you want there, but the Sentinel can still maybe get the one tap at the end. Lou now backing off, trying to find anything. They do have a bat at the very least. So TSM versus Sentinels currently at a 2v2.
Shocked they haven't gone for the res yet onto Hal. But that's a great start for Sentinels, considering the fact that they had double PKs in the hands, and now they're going to go and try to take the high ground over here. PK Mozambique, though, that's not an ideal situation. Plus, that armor's already broken. Nice shots there coming in from Brols. Reps is going to have to follow this damage up, but this is so exciting to watch. Hal just has to sit there on the ground and make callouts to his team, but hello, take it to the sky over here. The great thing is they've already got the knock and the thirst, so yes, they could hit the res onto Hal, or they could fake it. Looks like they're going to go for the full res, and now they have a 3v2 advantage.
Yeah, and before, even when he was on the ground, it's still a 2.5 versus 2, right? Because he's able to ping, he's able to block doors. There are important things when it comes to these 50-50 fights. Right now, Lou has run out of heals. He's down to about 55 HP with that purple armor. There's a blue swap at the very least inside. They might have already used it throughout all of this. Hal is going to have to slow heal, as it looks like that Complexity versus ASR fight still taking place. It might be ending fairly shortly here, but TSM still not able to hunt down the rest of Sentinels. But again, you can count this one. You can chalk this up as a victory for TSM.
Probably going to be a banner snag situation. Once you run out of heals, you're like, all right, respect. You guys did get this one. They did get the better of them right there. Had to be a little bit frustrating, though, when you have the PK and you end up getting kicked out by a Horizon. It wasn't even a punch. It was the flying kick to the forehead, as Luxor is going to have to be careful over here. Complexity does have their full 3-man squad, but they have to be very aware of where these players are without having a scan legend. So sticking together over here, trying to find the last player, which is Slurpee G on top of the train station. ASR going out to the hands of Complexity. They're the first team eliminated.
It is unfortunate, you know, for a new roster that are trying to figure things out, having to deal with a Complexity squad right now, and it's just taking the 50-50s early on. So not actually getting to play the game in a very standard fashion. NRG, though, playing the standard fashion of this composition as they are looking for the fights on the edges right now. They do have a team ahead of them just outside of Landslide. Nathan already using that gravity lift will have that singularity up at the same time in just a short moment here, so they can try to follow that one up. They have hit for Flash, and now they're going to continue to chase. We'll see. We've got 5 more seconds or so before Nathan can go ahead and take to the skies and drop down that singularity, but they have already caught up, and Vizio have been sandwiched as well. Atlanta Premier coming out from Countdown, stealing away one of those kills onto Team Vizio. So that's going to be our first squad down. We're now down to 19. So it looks like CLG are cleaning up some members of Renegades.
G2's going for the play. I like this aggressive push, but hello to the EVA 8. We know how strong that is after the changes. The 2-4 chaotic specialty on that R301 with the armor swaps on the ground and Renegades going out. You do not want to mess with G2 over towards Thermal Station. It looks like they will most likely hold this high ground too. So I'm curious if results are designed to have a scout in their back pocket.
They've gotten better about playing these thermal station circles, and more often than not, they default to playing this position. The last time I caught to talk to Designful about it is that he typically doesn't like this spot, but they've learned that they just have to play a little bit more conservatively. Like round 1, round 2, round 3, don't even peek, don't even go for shots, only go for defensive. But now, they've got 3 loot boxes of ammunition, heals, throwables, all this utility that they can actually play off of. So this is an extremely dangerous position now for G2. We do seem to have a fight though. Team Tyson versus NRG at Landslide, and NRG already have the opening there, cracking one, about to crack one more as they give chase.
This is third-party central though, so you have to end this fight fast, and that's how you do it right there with the shots from Guild. Gonna go with the battery, his final battery, but having that gold armor, not that big of a deal. His Sweet's going to heal as well. Shocked they weren't able to get that finish after that initial damage. 527 damage this early into the game, mainly with that wingman coming through. Such an unforgiving gun if you're not able to hit your shots. The Seer ultimate does go down, but it looks like they are not able to get any scans on where these players are, and that's probably why they ran away.
Yeah, the Newcastle was the lone player stuck up on that high ground, ends up using the Newcastle ultimate, the castle walls, just to reconnect with the squad, make it over to the vault tunnel, and then back away. For NRG, though, this is just a positional win for them. They do have now access to the replicator as TSM. End up getting into another fight here. This is going to be a full squad, though, as they now hunt them down. Big spray down from Hal here. He hits for Flesh, and he's going to chase after a little bit more. There's the knock on Tukubsky. Protectful gone as well. And, oh my goodness. This is a scary TSM.
Oxygen's like, well, we can't rotate through Lava Siphon now. and like you said, this has implications for the rest of, the ALGS, because you switch this up and you play like this. This is what Sentinels used to do. They would take Sorting Factory and they would wait for teams to rotate towards them and just dominate them. You have to understand, this is what TSM is going to do. You have to go around Lava Siphon, and I guarantee as soon as you start going around Lava Siphon, they're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to find where you end up going towards and where you like to go and rotate towards. Now they have another opportunity to possibly hunt down Team Intel. There's 2 more teams over towards the Geyser side, and you can see why they picked this POI and why it's important to hang around. A lot of teams have to siphon through Lava Siphon just to get to where the zones are going to be.
And I feel like with how often it seems like we end up getting southern zones as well, it just ends up working out in TSM's favor. They can play center zone if they want to, and they're a squad when it comes to playing center zone, they're incredibly strong. Hold on just a moment. Vizio, though, out in the open, as it looks like Rack Attack are on top of them. They gotta hit those medkits, though. Oh, I don't even know if he gets the syringe off. It's so close. He doesn't. Oh, no. Rack Attack, okay.
I was kind of hoping they all went one by one right there. I'm not going to lie. I never root against teams, but how funny would that have been? Just like, doom, doom, doom.
Atlanta Premier are here too. They're looking to gatekeep. I mean, it looks like they will just go ahead and back away, but they had a huge opportunity to actually pick up some free kill points up against Rack Attack, but they didn't know it. We might have a small engagement here over at staging, as Nerf already ends up getting one knock, now pushing out on to that Watson. That'll be the knock onto Oxy Aries, and it looks like Team Tyson ends up running into Nerf as they were trying to get away from NRG. So now down to just as a solo, we still have multiple fights taking place. G2 ends up getting a knock onto CLG. Can they follow up with it? It was a longbow knock from on top of the tower here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them.
Nice to see Designful rocking the Scout, too. We were curious to see if they did have some sort of long-range weapon. And if you're going to hold up there, it's almost a necessity to be able to rock that. But when you take a look at C9, they have the Scout as well. It's something that Naughty is very, very solid with. Going to go with the Volt in the back pocket as well. They do have Rocker on Bloodhound, which is interesting because Naughty's a very respectable Bloodhound as well. But it's been kind of popular, and I wonder why. But having your controller player on Valkyrie seems to kind of be the flavor for the teams. And it's nice to see C9 coming through with this new roster and getting some momentum here, not only in game number 1, getting towards the end zone, but here in game number 2 with a couple of kill points.
Yeah, I mean, just giving them the options to play a little bit more vertical, set up angles for themselves to get that one spray or the one clip spray down onto a player is just so strong. And it allows the flexibility on the other side for the rest of the team. At this point, though, Sentinels, they're actually still alive right now. Lu and Cross are up, but they have never been able to recover Senox. So they will be playing this one out as a duo. I believe quite possibly Intel are right now ratting this one out, which accounts for a few more of the players currently missing. There's 4 not in the lobby right now. Oh yeah, ESA actually started off as a duo as well. But for Cloud9, they've got another team in their sights as they charge forward on to that respawn building house. Naughty can actually just play off the door here and get huge damage down. We've got the Singularity coming in as well from that other squad just to try and stop them, but it doesn't even matter. Mike and Ike fall, 2 of them down. That's Mike and Ike out. C9 just demolish them in this fight here on the edge.
It is disheartening when you're inside of a building, you're playing, and all of a sudden a team just pushes you like that, and the double scan composition, no Horizon right there. You think maybe the Horizon Ultimate's going to be able to do something. I think he really wants you to pick up that gold helmet. I'm just curious if there was an enemy there or if he really wanted you to grab that helmet.
They need to get that Bloodhound ult up as quickly as possible if they want to carry off this momentum. Round 2 closing, and we are now down to 15 squads, just 10 more seconds as NRG ends up spotting out a squad coming into Harvester right now. The Rampage out here for Nathan. Does get some decent damage off, and it looks like they do want to try and chase after this one. You can see Gilderson's and Sweet leading the charge here, pushing up into the center of Harvester. If they don't find the fight, that's okay, because they will then have priority on this Replicator at the very least, but it definitely smells like that they are actually chasing after the kills.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and you're still able to craft inside of this zone as Sweet's going to go and gather that information, getting the heartbeats through the wall, and now he's looking for some more. Actually doesn't find any right there, but now Nathan's going to follow up, take the entry frag over here. Maybe they went on over towards the height. It looks like that's what he's considering as well. It's nice shots there with the Scout and Lu. It's, you know, it's just not Sentinel's day, Jamerson.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the Sen 10Ls days. So far, and we're only 2 games into the series here as they're trying their best to try and back off, but NRG, they can smell it. They know that it's just 1 solo remaining here. This Q just narrowly missing out, and NRG are just desperately chasing after this one. Sentinels will be knocked out, though. We are down to 14. Now NRG, they might be in an awkward position here. I want to know where TSM are at on this rotation. I want to see how they end up playing this ring when it comes to it, and they're going to be playing this high ground angle between Tree and Thermal, which is a very strong spot if you are playing off the edge. They got Excedrin in their sights, and oh my goodness, Imperial Hal with that R301. If he ended up having a purple mag or something, that could have been a knock.
Yeah, nice shots there from Hal, but you have to also watch your back here, and that's what they're thinking. You know, peppering those players, that's not a kill opportunity unless you get the knock. So going through and constantly checking with your scans. Love to see Hal going and playing on this Seer and what he's able to do. Again, there's so many different styles that you could play with this, and because you add Valkyrie into this composition, you could sit on the edge, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're out of there, skyward dive into where you need to be. Not looking good for Jet, though, and I'm not quite sure if he has any heals either, if he's just trying to avoid any type of sound going forward, but Energy looks like they're on the hunt.
Yeah, NRG are the rat hunters at this point. They are the exterminators, as we do have them jumping up. Oh, they got to be careful. I'm wondering if this is TSM. We did see them here a little bit earlier on, and NRG might have been able to catch them off guard. It is. It's Reps, the first one to fall. Now TSM are scrambling. It's caught up out in the center here as Verholz will go down, and our 30 bomb team ends up going down in 14th place. Really not picking up much. Excedrin was on the other side of this fight as the scan comes out now. They still have that Beast and Hunts ready to get another scan in, but what a beautiful arc star. Kodagami didn't even see it coming as he was colorblind in that regard. NRG just sweeping through here and cleaning out the rest of this lobby here on the top side. Excedrin knocked out.
Great black hole there from Nathan. And it was interesting to see nobody shoot that ultimate. But the third party coming in for C9, well timed from them. We know we were rocking the double scan, so they should be able to clean this one up. The wingman shots are connecting, but Naughty hitting with that bolt, and it's all but over for NRG. They go out in 12th place. The third, the fourth party. It started with TSM going down. Now CLG entering as well.
All right, Demi, where is the EMP? He should be getting it ready, but Nano's getting tagged from so far behind. This is all the way on the north side of Thermal, and that's so unfortunate. If Nano didn't get tagged there, they're going to go ahead and full send it. Demi is trying to pop an ultimate Excel throughout all of this to set up for the EMP. Nox Gas Grenade should be going down as Mamba gets that first knock onto Naughty. There it is, the Nox Gas Grenade to try and retake height after they hit up this bat. That exhibit should be running out fairly shortly as Nano tries to find the flank on the right-hand side. The EMP has connected, and there is a knock onto Rocker, bringing it down to 1 for Cloud9. Now CLG, after they clean this one up, they need to reset quickly. They've got a minute before the zone starts closing in, but maybe the party ends here.
Wonder if they're gonna have enough loot after all of that. Just you know, that's I'm so concerned for them that they're not gonna have enough loot after 5 teams just died over there. Esports Arena, they've been playing this game out as a duo. They're gonna switch their composition based off of that. Hopefully they get all 3 coming through. We knew that this was the case when the game started, so nice to see them still alive. And well, we know Razor popped off after their third, ended up dying early in game number 1, so maybe they can do their best Razor impression, as G2 has not left this position quite yet, and that's what you're looking for if you're Designful. The third party with the scout, the knock, and the flush, and ESA. Unfortunately for them, they're going to go down, and now Resulta with the longbow from downtown. This is what you love to see from G2.
This is the thing, like, this is a huge season for G2. G7 Scout is back in the floor loot, so it's more reliable for them to pick up, which is in the past where you see them absolutely fry. We know Designful for having, you know, one of the scariest controller wingmans, but he is also one of the scariest G7 scouts in the game, and he is showing why. With this dominant position, the ring still pulling their way as well. They picked up a few kill points here or there. He's already done 1,200 damage so far. Got himself the red Evo. Should be swapping off with Resulta to get himself 1 more red Evo here. And again, it all comes down to taking that early fight, contesting over this sniper tower early on, having the extra loot boxes, and now they get to do this. The longbow for Resulta, never mind.
Wow.
He's going to get an Evo shield for himself. Intel finally getting knocked out. Tyson end up going down as well.
Those were some great shots from long range. I mean, results of making that look easy. Those are not easy shots, and also great job leading from Designful. I mean, granted, you know, if you're another pro player, you're probably watching this and be like, well, these guys aren't really looking at you, but you know, a couple of whiffs on these, and you know, you're not getting these kill opportunities. You're not getting your Evo shield charged up to red. You have to capitalize on this while you can. 1,200 damage, only 1 kill for Resulta, but this is an area, again, without these weapons, without the longbow and the scout, it's almost useless sitting up here. So you have to get those 2 weapons, you have to hit your shots, or you have to have some sort of long range, whether that's the 30-30, you know, another type of sniper rifle, even charge rifle, even though I would hate to see anyone use the charge rifle today in Pro Night.
I'm sorry, Tom. I saw a little bit of the stream last night. Valkyrie go for information on the skyward dive, and then all of a sudden 5 charge rifles beam you out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you saw that? Oh, no.
I saw that.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know, that's one of the things that I'm stoked about with the scout being ground loot and the changes that we've had is we have not seen nearly as many charge rifles, and, of course, right on cue, Petty Boss just had to ruin it all.
Yeah, it's always going to be Petty Boss as well with that charge rifle. The Team Nerf, one of the 7 squads alive here for ring number 5. It's about to close up in just a moment, and then we will have that final ring 6 closing in. Razor, oh no, Blake unfortunately was caught up inside the ring the whole time. He has almost no HP on that landing. He is going to instantly have to pop that Newcastle shield. But can they even find the landing zone they're going to play off of? It looks like the jungle gym here, they're a little bit separated, and now Petty Boss is on top of Bowser as they take this fight up against them. Nerf now have the man advantage. They secured that thirst as well onto Bowser. Not able to get the Gibraltar, though. Pacing after him, hitting Flesh. One more shot. The wall bounce is enough to get him behind, as it looks like this defensive bombardment ends up coming down on Nerf. But that gravity lift keeps them alive. What the hell is going on in this game?
I'm sure Turns is thinking the same thing as you go up there and you spot that Valkyrie, but love watching players that don't really have power positions make something out of nothing. Complexity, they're going to have to move the zones, eating them alive. Newcastle wall doesn't really mean anything as G2 finally drops down from that high ground, and look out, that thing stuns you.
Yeah, he learns it a little bit the hard way. CLG have gone down as well. We're down to our final 3 squad. We got Nerf, G2, along with one more. That's going to be Atlanta Premier. Crook ends up going down there, but they should be able to play off the backside of this pipe, get that res. It's going to be a golden res as well, so it'll be a quick top off, but might mean they will be out of meds in just a moment. That's one syringe left for the horizon, but I was thinking maybe we would have a 5-team ending here. We know that teams can definitely coexist on the jungle gyms. You know, at times we'll have maybe 2 teams alive on each one. But it is down to our final 3 squads. G2, they're the ones that are going to try and force the teams into each other right now. Probably have one of the better positions to set up a crossfire for this one, because you can see Nerf and AP have clear sight lines on each other and have to play around that instead.
I agree, that's a great point, but also without any Watsons here and everybody playing on Seer in these aggressive type compositions towards the tail end, it just makes it so you're not necessarily able to coexist, because these players are so good at spotting one player out of position or canceling your heals and your reses that they'll immediately just send on you and reset. So if we had a couple Watsons, maybe some Caustics in this situation, definitely would anticipate a lot more players going forward. But now we get an opportunity to see which is the first team that's going to be flushed out, and that's going to be G2. Big nade there from Petty Boss. All 3 players stuck. If he could land this thermite, G2 is going to be toasted.
Oh man, Atlanta Premier and Nerf just have like a gentleman's agreement right now. Petty Boss is about to break it though. Take a look at him. He's like, okay, I need to actually make sure that these guys don't get any kills here, keeping an eye on him. So I'm glad that even though both teams are trying to focus down G2, Petty Boss is still keeping an eye on Atlanta Premier on the other side. G2 are just getting tagged left and right, but they should have been able to pick up enough loot off the boxes on the ground there from Complexity to heal up. We do have our first exhibit going down for Atlanta Premier, as G2 are slowly running out of ground, and you can see the ring is putting in work, but Nerf have it right behind them as well. We'll see if anyone from Atlanta Premier take an eye on over them. A nade comes on in. Petty Boss gets the first spray down. 120 onto Urban, and now G2 are going to try and full send it, but Crook ends up taking out Resulta mid-air. You can see now G2 can do nothing but flail there. It's coming down to our final 3v3. Nerf versus Atlanta Premier. Petty Boss letting on in first, receiving the bulk of the focus, but here is the rest of Nerf showing up, pushing forward. Urban down. It's down to a 2v2. The Singularity keeping them inside of the ring, and they take so much damage for it that Nerf are able to clean up safely, taking the win here in game number 2.
What a black hole there. All of a sudden, it took them back away from the zone. They went into the zone there. We know how much damage that zone's going to do. So Turns with the perfect black hole. That Horizon ult just decimating Atlanta Premier. They didn't stand a chance once that went down. I mean, you saw the way that Petty Boss was going out there. He did overextend a little bit, but he did a lot of damage, and then the presence of mind to kind of dance back and forth. He knew that he had to reload, so he was kind of just trying to stay alive as long as possible, maybe hoping that his missile storm was going to come back, but I think it still was on respawn from the fact that he used it earlier on G2. So the way that they were able to just kind of play that together was absolutely huge. Tough spot for G2 to be in. I mean, I don't really think they could have done anything else besides maybe, you know, send it earlier on to Atlanta Premier, but by then you're just getting absolutely destroyed by Nerf over towards the side. Awesome 3v3 to end that one. What a game number 2.
But there, you know, G2 were able to convert on the ring pulling their way down to Thermal Station, right? They got that 50-50, or not the 50-50, but the early team fight win up against Renegades. That's the +3. From that position, they were able to leverage it into mid-game kills from long range with the G7 Scout with the longbow. I think they picked up about another 3 there, dropped down onto Complexity once Ring 5 closes. So they got somewhere around 8, maybe 7 kill points, and they might have been able to pick up a little bit more. We don't know exactly how many they got. Yeso will be able to fill us in with that one. But we had a lot of fighting taking place, and this is what we expect when we have a very hard pull down towards an extremity of the map, going all the way down to Thermal Station. C9, this is one of those rings that they end up particularly succeeding well in when it comes down to a southwest pole. I feel like those are some of the best circles for C9, a team that wants to kind of just default to playing on edge, but we saw what happened there, Tom. That one hill between Tree and Thermal, where just so many teams ended up showing up and fighting against each other.
Yeah, and that really started with TSM, and realistically, you expect Hal to be checking what he was doing all the time, right? We didn't get an opportunity to see what his screen looked like right there, but just one little slip up of maybe not seeing where an enemy team was coming from created this crazy chain reaction and 5-6 different teams showing up into one spot.
Yeah, all right. And so we're going to leave it to Yeso to try and break that one down for us. So Yeso, go ahead and take over the breakdown of game number 2 for us right now.
A lot of different things to talk about from that game, Jamerson and T-Squared, though. I think you guys make a good job, make a good point kind of pointing out all of the third parties we were getting up there near Thermal Station. But the big thing for me was G2 getting set up in the God spot early. I have been very vocal on this show before. I'm a big fan of Thermal Station finishes. I think just the verticality and how that POI works and the different kind of vantage points that different teams could hold makes these circles very interesting. And G2 get that high ground early, and then as everybody's rotating into the area, they're farming those red Evos, picking up kills. They did such a good job to get rolling. And then I also love the decision that they get off of the high ground early, because so often I feel like teams want to hold on to it as long as possible, even that when they know that the circle is going to push them off of it. And I think so often we see teams punished when they wait too long, and then teams are able to get set up and easily poke them out as they drop from the high ground. But G2 get off early, they win a fight, and then they're just unfortunately in a position where AP and Nerf are more than happy to kind of handshake there, not worry about each other, and just focus on whittling down the health bars of G2, and they did a fantastic job. And then well played from Nerf to clean up AP there in the end. There's a highlight we will take a look at in our Mobile One high performance moment that I think perfectly illustrates the clean finish here from Nerf. There are their stats from this game. Petty Boss leading in the damage department, Force picking up 4 kills for himself. So not, a TSM game 1 type performance. 19 kills is we did have a bug on the graphic earlier, so can confirm it was 19 kills from TSM in game 1. That's a difficult bar to reach, but still Nerf with a solid showing in this one. And with TSM going out as early as they did, does open up the window for teams to try and close that gap here before the end of the half, because of course we still have one more game left on World's Edge. But let's take a look at our Mobile One high performance moment, because this was the defining play of this game, and it's the finish from Nerf. G2 close to getting taken out. Petty Boss getting some early damage here onto Urban, and it's right before the G2 push, and it's just easy cleanup here. Crook hits Resulta first. Petty Boss able to get the beam there with the R301 to clean up, and then Nerf take the initiative, and the key play here is turns. On the horizon, AP are trying to hold the edge, but that beautiful singularity into the zone just drags AP back. And it's, of course, the singularity is in a position nowadays where it's fairly easy to break it quickly. You can reactively kill it pretty fast before you're threatened by a ton of damage. But the problem is that this late in the game, those zone ticks do so much that even if you are able to quickly and reactively take it out, it still just yanks you so far back into the zone that you've already lost half of your health before you've even killed the black hole. So this is just such a clean play, a well set up ultimate there from Turns, easy cleanup there for the rest of Nerf. So that's just good, heady gameplay from Turds and from Nerf. They know they have AP backed up against the edge of the zone. Throw out the black hole, delete half their health bars anyway, and make your life a whole lot easier. Nerf did exactly that, and it's a big reason why they grabbed that win. So well played from Turns and the Nerf squad. Do want to let you know, of course, I mentioned earlier we're going to be giving away a couple of these 12th gen Intel Core i5 processors. We're doing more giveaways tonight, folks. We decided, what the heck, everybody's popping off in chat, enjoying the show, having a good time, so we're going to have some more Esports Arena merch giveaway as well. So we've got still the 2 processors. Stick around. We'll be giving both of these away during the show. Just make sure you're in chat, you're active, you're having a good time. But we're also going to give away some Esports Arena merch as well, so make sure to stick around for that. Right now, though, we're going to a quick break. When we come back, Jamerson and T Squared will check out our Mobile One leaderboard, and we'll get you ready for Game 3.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Just before the break, it was Team Nerf taking the win there in game number 2. And it's interesting because TSM ended up going down early on. And so they had a fairly comfortable lead, but now that has been cut into as it looks like TSM will maintain their first place spot with 36 points. We have Atlanta Premier now in second place with 24, and G2 really leveraging that position, that ring pulled down to Thermal Station to get themselves into third place with 20 points.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting looking at the overall leaderboard here, our Mobile One leaderboard, because Atlanta Premier kind of slid under the radar. Yeah, we knew they got second place, but that must have been a pretty big pop-off game for them overall. I can't remember exactly what they had in game number 1, but also look at C9. C9's been consistent. I mean, they didn't have a great start overall in terms of their terms, but being in the top 5, you know, going over towards these end circles, putting yourself in a good position is a great start. It's going to give you an opportunity to learn from your mistakes. You know, you're going to be able to get confidence going forward. And when you're a new team, that's what you're looking for. You don't want to be on the right side of the leaderboard. You want to be in a position to win, and they're definitely in position to win right now.
Yeah, now we are about to load into our final map of World's Edge for today before we make the swap on over to Storm Point. And it doesn't seem like we're getting too many changes in terms of legend selects. We do have Davis Wave filling in as the third for Esports Arena for it seems like the rest of the evening. So thank you so much to Davis Wave for showing up. And so we do have a full lobby. We'll be joining on board with Team Nerf in just a moment as we are headed on to World's Edge for game number 3. Again, we have to keep an eye on the 50-50s that are taking place, though. We've got the 50-50 at Fragment East that's been taking place between ASR and Complexity. We've got the fight that's been taking place down at Lava Siphon between TSM and Sentinels, but it's Team Nerf here in 5th place with 18 points now that are dropping over on Fragment West. TSM, though, already dropping Central combined together as the full 3. They're not looking to get dropped on and meleeed down.
This is interesting because typically you land in the middle and you want to take this fight fast, but because Sentinels splits up right here, this may end up griefing both of the teams, because if I know that this 50-50 is taking place and I'm one of the teams that lands maybe tree or something like that, I got a little gondola action to start game number 3. I'm not quite sure if TSM is going to want to elongate this fight. They should know that third parties are going to come, and they may want to end up backing off from this. And now, what is this? CLG's in the area too, so we have 3 teams here.
This is the oddest grief, but I think what for CLG, the idea is you know that the contest is happening. So if you drop on the edges, you steal some loot from TSM and from Sentinels, and then you back on over to Harvester to finish off that loot path. TSM, though, are seeming to be ready for that one, and they're moving together as a full 3, but CLG have made their way on out. But that is some griefing rap play if I've ever seen one.
Serious
ASR,
griefing.
Though.
It's like my ranked games.
ASR looking to try and take this fight up against Complexity. They're pushing up as a full 3. Unfortunately for them, they only have the white Evo shields for themselves, so this is a dangerous, dangerous fight.
Yeah, the ult is down right now, and I'm not quite sure if Slurpee G got the memo that they are not in the building, because if they were, then they would have been seen. So, great armor, ballsy push coming in for ASR. Also, potential third party for Nerf if they want to go and push over here.
Yeah, this is really difficult because that exhibit didn't get the corners of this building, but as they drop down, Alberlele does have them backed up into corner. We'll go ahead and back away towards Slurpee G. That mobile shield has been used, and now they've got 2 members here on the door, but Alberlele ends up getting that first knock. It's going to be an exchange. ASR now down to just Slurpee G. It's a Complexity. We're able to just take advantage of that door. Now Muffin's dropped down to 1 HP, but he has the shield wall to play off of, and he also has the backup of Luxford there. He still has not been able to heal quite yet, but he get a moment of reprieve, hit up a quick cell. Now he should be able to get at least pop off these syringes before they finish off this 2v1. But this fight is taking forever. There's an opportunity now for Nerf to come in for the third party.
Great play, and Muffins, was he 1 HP or was he half HP? I'm not quite sure if it gets any lower than that. Unfortunate for ASR again. Triple gray armor, not much you can really do in that situation. Nerf should understand that there was knocks on both sides, and the res does happen, but if Force can get in there and cancel some healing, that's going to be big. Nice shots there from Turns. He's going to be able to get that initial knock, has the battery in hand, ready to go, and the rest of the players, Petty and Force, are going to start making their way through, but a third party coming around a corner. That's Mar from Team Mike and Ike with the long-range longbow. Is that enough for Mike and Ike to continue to send, though, on this third party? We'll find out. 1 player remaining here, and it is looking like that is going to be Newcastle. Muffins on that. Legend doesn't go for the res. Instead, he's going to go and push through. Turns still needs some help, and I don't think that they have pushed yet from the Mike and Ike side. They haven't, so that was from serious long range.
Oh, they might have been able to get the cancel on the res, and they do. Wizard Coin tapping that Q to take him out, and now Mike and Ike are going to chase after the rest of Team Nerf, and it seems like there's kind of a curse. When you win your game, you go out early in the next one. Nerf are still alive for now, but they've lost out on turns. I don't know if Mike and Ike will allow them to pick up that banner, just because take a look at where the ring is for this first zone. It's right here on the edge of Fragment East. So Mike and Ike, they can kind of camp around here for quite some time if they want to, and for the simple fact that they have, what, 6 other bodies that they can loot up, and so they can find themselves here for quite some time.
Unfortunate turn of events there for Team Nerf, but we'll see what happens. Like you mentioned, getting that banner would be absolutely huge. Meanwhile, Sentinels, we didn't get a chance to see what they did. They went down over towards Tree, pushed around, and then flanked back up over towards where the zone's going to go. Oxygen doesn't look like they went through Lava Siphon this time, so they have learned their lesson. They're going to go with the long route, making their way now through towards the fragment side and making their way over towards that northwestern area. Oxygen loves to play center zone, and it looks like, you know, with the way that everything's set up right now, they're going to be fairly late. So this is going to be a tough situation, especially for Protectful, who has gray armor.
Yeah, again, we were talking about the major implications of having TSM down there on the south side. Teams have to adjust on their rotates. Oxygen made it. That adjustment means that it's slower on the rotate by about 20 seconds because they have to kind of run all the way around. For NRG, though, they're taking a pit stop over here at Lava Siphon. They've already got purples along with the gold, but Mike and Ike ends up getting into a fight. Petty Boss, Nerf coming back around for this one. And so it's down to a 2v2 here. We'll see, though. Unfortunately for Wizard Coin, he wasn't able to get down to the exhibit, but Mar gets the one clip onto Petty Boss. Now, Forcey is left in a 1v2 versus Mike and Ike.
Yeah, this is a third party, though, so he's trying to stay alive as long as possible, hoping that the other two teams fight. Maybe looking for the one clip on that player, and peekaboo, he's able to get a lot of damage around, but now that's going to be 2 versus 1, and that's all she wrote. Mike and I going to finish the job, but a grief for a grief. That's what I always say, and now TSM going to come in and collapse on Mike and I.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate for TSM, though, because it looked like Sentinels, their plan was to actually steal the armor on the gondola, so TSM are playing off of blues and a white here. But there's the first knock. It doesn't even matter. TSM taking out Mar. They already had the numbers advantage as well, and now they just need to finish off the third player of Mike and Ike and steal all of their armors. So TSM, it's just a matter of time before they're able to upgrade themselves, and they do spot out that last player, MJ, going down. See how quickly Imperial Hal is on checking, but C9 now coming in for the third party. They do have the armor advantage. It's going to be about 75 HP in difference, but TSM still have the armor swaps inside to play off of. So this is a little bit more dangerous for Cloud9 than it actually looks, as that singularity is quickly cleared. We do have the Beast in the Hunt pop here for Rocker, and they spot out one by himself. That's going to be Verhols going down, and Cloud9 are just forcing the issue up against TSM. And TSM have almost no fight left in them here. Hal is the only one up, and Cloud9 just absolutely slapped down TSM.
75 damage. That's how much damage TSM did. Grant, they were going against double scans at C9 of fighting against a third party right there. But that was a dominant performance from Naughty, especially with the shots. The wingman shots connecting on the stairs, shooting down the black hole, the shots going up the lift as well. Perfect execution from C9. That's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Boy, 14 squads here, and we finally get to talk about the ring. I actually didn't get to talk about the ring this entire time. Sky, Hook, Circle, and of course CLG, who love to play center zone, are in a beautiful spot for it. They've got the caustic traps on all of the zip ups to their spot. They've got seemingly long-range weapons, and it's hard to tell, but I think they might have a beacon scan to pull off of from their south. So this is going to be a great spot for Dimmy to be able to continually pick that one up for his team. Yeah, they've got the scans on it. Oxygen are actually on that building right now. A skyward dive coming out from them, but they've already kind of shown their presence. So Oxygen are going to try and play for that market side, actually opting for the triple-story building here on the northeast, just outside. But, ooh, Kubsky having a little bit of trouble with that door. Will be able to make it in. They've got the interception pylon, and I'm surprised he's actually going to go ahead and hit the bat for that. There we go. They're going to go ahead and opt to just go for the slow heals, but I kind of want to see the interception pylon going down, especially seeing as how they're on the edge of the zone here. They have time. They can build up another interception pylon.
It's wild when you go and think about what happened over towards the fragment side, how a lot of that starts with complexity pushing into that building, and then the knock from Mike and Ike onto turns. It all creates this crazy domino effect where teams push, team push, and then things finally slowing down with C9 because the rest of the players and teams have now made their rotation out. And you wonder, like, hey, why is there third parties? Why are there fourth parties? Why are there fifth parties? Those are the amount of teams that are in the vicinity. You just don't really necessarily know that until it happens to you, is now NRG is going to have to dance around, and we know how populated this area gets. Sweet dancing around, but he gets dropped, and now it's up to the rest of the members of NRG to get something going. The cover fire from Nathan, the shots onto the player. He actually gets dome-pieced by the black hole. I don't know how he escapes from that one. The thing literally bounced off his head.
He did have like that downward slide, right? So it actually creates a little bit more distance than you would actually expect because of the vertical distance from that downward slide. But Excedrin did end up losing out on Kimchi Lee. They still need to try and recover here. Kodagami is out on that right-hand side to catch out that player, but you can see Cruisin backing away to go ahead and hit that res to get Kimchi Lee back up. So they still have the numbers advantage in this fight with round 2 closing in behind them. Well, Kimchi Lee needs the time to hit up this Phoenix kit. And it looks like they might be cut off as that high ground angle is being held. Cruisin, though, has the beamage. He's got plenty of ammo and that purple mag for that R301, but they're going to try and opt to play positionally instead, and Kodagami is the one that has been able to take that forward position here as he going to go ahead and hold on just this moment here. Another scan out, and 2 more seconds will be huge for them as the exhibit is used from the other side, but Kodagami now spots him out on that grav lift, and they get the knock from the long range of the G7 Scout, putting in work.
Oh, sweet with the flank skis. He's back, and he's getting knocks. Kimchi Lee, though, he's going to go with the immediate gold res. This is huge. NRG may not expect this. They may continue to send on this thinking that they have the advantage, but all of a sudden, sometimes that gold res can give you a big advantage. Nice flank coming in from Kimchi, and that's the knock onto Sweet. Sweet, first player to go down again, but remember, his teammates had his back last time. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it again.
Oh, Kimchi Lee in position just in time, but Kodagami ends up going it down. Now it's down to a 2v2, but they should have the numbers advantage with that knock onto Gildersons. It's down to a 2v1. Cruisin and Kimchi Lee from either side. That's a nice double peek coming out from them, but they still need to recover here it looks like a lot of our teams have made their way into Skyhook, and so they might be safe to go for the full reset. Atlanta Premier is diving down into the 2-story building. The exhibit is here, and they might have to try and full send because they are getting focused down by multiple squads. We know that CLG are up in that sniper post. It looks like Atlanta Premier are able to utilize that exhibit well to find an empty building for themselves and kind of stabilize now here inside of Skyhook.
And one of my favorite passives in the game is the spacewalk for Horizon. It's just so fun not taking any of that little not fall damage, but you know, the delayed response, the stumble that you take whenever you're falling from the high ground. Just that little extra second that you get from the boost is absolutely huge, and one of the reasons the enemy was able to get out of that situation. But Skyhook endings can be tricky for a handful of different reasons. You don't necessarily know exactly what the ending is going to be, and teams coexist for so long over here that once this gets to zone number 4 and 5, that death screen, that kill feed is going to light up.
And it makes for awkward fights with all these seers in as well. Exhibits are going to go down, and so you're going to know exactly where all the teams around you are, meaning that maybe if you end up taking a fight, a third party isn't quite as possible just because the exhibits are going to be down. These fights should be quite fast. Cloud9 actually getting to a fight right now. Zach Mazer caught outside by himself. Mamba ends up getting the knock from that center tower as another team ends up pushing them. It was Razor and end up kind of griefing them at the spot. CLG Nano with that port is able to get him back just in time. EMP was used throughout all of this, so CLG getting involved in this one, getting one more knock on to a member of Cloud9, looking for just a little bit more. Unfortunately, cannot chase after it. You can see that they have to hold down on so many positions here, and they're getting tagged, I want to say, by Oxygen on the other side of this one.
Mamba, the challenger, takes 100 damage and then re-peaks right there. Absolute psycho play for him, but the power of Wraith being showcased there to go and fly in for the third parties. The rotation's still really strong, a very underutilized legend still to this day, but I believe he's the only one playing Wraith right now. As you see the skyward dive coming in for ESA, they're gonna have to coexist inside of this building, and right now it doesn't look like Davis Wave's gonna be able to get out of there. Claimed with the EMP, but at this point it's a 2v3 and it's not looking good. Big spray coming out over towards the side, but getting hit with the fence is not gonna be good. Vizio should have this one under wraps, and they do. Tough rotation coming in for ESA.
Here's the third party from Renegades, though, as they're trying to get involved into this one. We'll see if the traps are still there. The exhibit has gone down. The Syracuse already been used, so they can't cancel the res, and so they are up as a full 3. Yubin ends up getting the first knock on to Bursty, but now Oxygen from that triple-story building ends up taking out one. So this isn't a clean fight for Renegades, and so they need to kind of prioritize just stabilizing first before they continue to try and take this fight. But now, here they come. It's the full send from the other squad. Renegades had to pull off, had that res canceled as Oxygen now are trying to really build some momentum off of it, but Protectable ends up taking a lot of damage. Kubsky calls it to go for the retreat because, again, they cannot follow up on that.
It's questionable if they could. I mean, they get a couple knocks. If they got both the Thirst, that makes sense. Intel comes in for the third party, so that play ends up being genius for Kubsky because now we know that there's going to be even more teams that come in after this. Expect Seer on Seer scans after this because this is going to be a bloodbath. Icy taking a lot of damage, looking like he's got a broken armor swap, and another team coming back on over. It's Oxygen with the little whoop, swoop, and pull coming back for what they started.
Yeah, they knew they just needed to buy a little bit more time, but now it's Excedrin coming in for the final third party, quite possibly that Singularity on the outside, so they cannot clear it, and Kimchi Lee does enough damage. Unfortunately for them, there's an interception pylon, so they couldn't follow up on that Singularity with the nades. As Kimchi Lee is off on his ones, they need a little bit more backup for him as he's trying to hit up that med kit. They do hit that Q, and it's all on to 3 members of that Oxygen squad. We're trying their best to survive, and so they haven't been able to heal quite yet. They still have that information, but you can see they lost out on a priority for the fight. They can no longer chase because now they leave themselves vulnerable to a third party. So they'll just have to play the rooftop for now and wait to see where this circle ends up pulling.
Yeah, and that's another team flying in. We have 4 teams inside of this building right now. This is absolutely insane. Bowser coming in off the high ground. Rakanishu on the Gibby. They're going to need to potentially hold this roof together because you have a team on every single level of this building. Market's still in, 2 buildings left, 8 squads. Skyhook endings are just so fun.
You've also got that little fence line to play off of to the eastern edge too. So there's still plenty of spots. It looks like CLG are stacked on top of Sentinels for the time being. We'll see if CLG make that drop down onto them or if they try to cut them off with the Wraith Portal. CLG have the better equipment overall with the purples up against the blues that Sentinels are on, because again, that contest has not been working out for them. Sentinels have not been able to get anything going. We do have that Nox Gas Grenade with the EMP, but it doesn't seem like the EMP actually catches. Singularity used just to try and delay, but that's not going to do much for them as they have a beautiful angle here for Nano, and he's just going to drop down onto Sentinels, and this is not a great day, but this is still, I guess, the best game so far for Sentinels, going out in 8th place.
Oh man, Sentinels bowling is what I like to call that clip right there, because they just went down 3 in a row.
10 pins. That was a
strike.
They
did. That was definitely a Sentinels strike, but not for them. That was nasty, nasty plays from CLG. I mean, the gas really owns a lot of AoE there, so when you combine that with a bunch of grenades and then just the pure aggression that came after that, there really wasn't much Sentinels could do. Unfortunate situation for them, and just been really tough overall, as Z Davis is a little angry at his interception pylon. Looks like he wants to replace another one.
Yeah, they might have gotten the full charge, you know, exhausted all of the shields off of it, so just toss down another one, buy time, because by the time round 6 closes, he might, if he has an ultimate, or, well, never mind, if he has a gold helmet, have another one ready. If he has an ultimate excel, he instantly has another one ready. Ooh! Luzin ends up getting a knockout onto Joey Blackout, but they are safe inside of their building now. Excedrin are trying to make that push. Atlanta Premier ends up going down in this scramble with that ring closing. Yet Joey Blackout up just in time. He's going to take the slow heals here. He should have the interception pylon up top to try and slow heal, but never mind. It's CLG that were able to sneak their way into the market side while we still have 3 teams stacked on top of each other. We got Rack Attack, Excedrin, and one more team inside of this 5-story building.
This is a decent position for Rack Attack to be in. One, because they have the high ground, they have Caustic, but there could be a potential Valkyrie ult if they wanted to, you know, get a little bit weird with the way that they rotated and kind of let the other teams get distracted at the very last second. They could take to the high ground and maybe do something. But right now, this is a tough spot for everybody besides CLG. I mean, CLG is going to be sitting pretty over towards market while all of these teams are going to be duking it out.
Yeah, and CLG have that Caustic. They should have another Nox Gas Grenade, and so this could be a free farmage for them. If the ring ends up closing, where enough teams are just kind of forced into that Nox Gas Grenade, that can easily be another 12 kill points for CLG. If they don't pick up the large majority of this, of the remaining kill points, I would be amazingly surprised. Oxygen, though, they have a little bit of priority on the drop down. They're only on that 2nd story, and they do have that Watson setup. So if he can save up a few nodes, he can try and control the exits there up against the other squads. And he has that interception pylon just to play a little cover as well for Oxygen. But here it is, the final ring closing in.
Oxygen's worked so hard this game to get into this position. They gave market up a little bit early. Mamba looking for the Kraber, 95 to the back. You know, I don't know if the Kraber should only do 95 damage. I don't really agree with that. That shot looked good to me, Mamba. I would at least give you 96 damage.
Nice big play there for Nano. He ends up getting stuck with that Arc Star. Armor swaps over to a purple while that gets eaten up, and then armor swaps back after to the red to stabilize. But here it is. The setup for CLG is actually creating a lot of space for Joey Blackout and company. Mamba gets the first knock onto Oxygen's Kubski, and they do need to get that knockcast grenade a little bit further. There's another knock. Oxygen on the verge of getting taken out there. Mamba just go for the 301 spray. Thank you to finish him off. Demi ends up finding one more, and CLG are starting to clean up, but Excedrin picks up 3 of their own. We are now down to our final 3 squads, and it's about to be 2 here in just a moment as Excedrin have to drop down, but here comes Team Tyson from behind to try and get the third party onto them, but CLG instantly respawn, and the gas, they are just left breathing it in. CLG with the lone Caustic on the lobby absolutely dominate.
and it started with them griefing loot towards Lava Siphon. Can we just think about that for a second? They were the third team to land over towards Lava Siphon. They gobbled up the loot from Sentinels in TSM. They made their way back on over towards Harvester, rotated all the way towards the northern side of the map. Third party to a handful of different teams, took the God spot. They went bowling with Sentinels. It was absolutely insane for CLG.
Yeah, just this really, really smart adjustment coming out from CLG there, right? I mean, we were wondering, what the hell are you doing over there? Are you contesting them? No, they are just stealing the loot, and we saw how bad that put TSM and Sentinels in terms of loot. For TSM, though, they kind of just played this their style. They're playing edge. This is Ring pulling up to the north side. They're coming from the south. They tried to find the fights here at Fragment East, and they did find a few, but it ended up being, of course, Cloud9 coming in for that third party and ended up putting an end to TSM early on.
That was so impressive from CLG. There were so many layers to that game that showcased their skill, from the little maneuver to go and take that loot, to the rotation overall, to the Wraith portal from the high ground. And, you know, a lot of other teams are running Valkyrie, so the fact that they footed over there, got into a God spot, the, you know, caustic, unorthodox plays that they make with this composition, they put it together right there, and they showed that, yes, there are a lot of different strong compositions, but if you can play what you're really good at, and if you play it that way like CLG did there, Caustic's still viable, even Wraith really viable in these situations. You don't necessarily have to be playing Valkyrie or Seer or Horizon. They did it right there with some old school play styles and just really great timing and Apex knowledge overall.
All right, let's go ahead and send it on over to Yeso to break down our final game on World's Edge as we get ready to swap on over to Stormpoint. So, Yeso, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Jen. CLG closing out World's Edge with a nice victory. They're trying to carry the momentum they had from last night, right? 2-game wins under their belt last night, a triple-digit performance overall. They only missed the top 5 in open night in game number 1, and they looked solid in this one. Let's take a look at our champion squad here for game number 3 as we get ready to head over to Stormpoint. A really damn good game here from CLG. 13 kills for the squad. Everybody looking solid in the damage department. Really good game across the board here from CLG. And, of course, everybody mixing it up with the compositions. Do want to say one thing. Really felt like when we initially got the balance changes on Valkyrie, she dropped off the map. Teams just dropped her completely. But I think what we are seeing is a lot of teams, and it's been a very prevalent pick so far today, picking her back up because while she is certainly more punishable, right, in her ultimate, not as much slow on her rockets and, you know, less fuel in her jetpack, so she is certainly a more vulnerable legend, but you still cannot compete with the power of her rotations with the Skyward Dive. So I think while we won't see her as necessary for squads in the current state of the meta, still going to see a lot of teams like we are today picking her up and using her well. She's still been very good for a lot of squads here so far in today's competition. Let's look, though, at our Mobile 1 high performance moment, and this is one of the more satisfying plays here. You see Mamba up on the high ground here in central Skyhook, laying down a lot of damage, and then a quick follow-up from Dimmy there with the EMP, and then they drop down to the low, and then this is just wonderful from Nano, laying down a couple of arc stars, and you see the squad just back into the corner, and then Nano drops with the Volt. It just catches all of Sentinels in the corner here in Skyhook, and that beam just felt so good. The big numbers make gamers smile, and it definitely made me feel really good here. But this is just well executed from CLG, holding the high ground well, laying down the damage as long as they can, and then as soon as they see those big ticks for flesh, Nano very quickly drops down, gets the 3-man spray there, picks up the kills, and of course they rolled that into a win. Though I think Jamerson definitely maybe questioning that Kraber in the hands of Mamba. I was feeling much the same. Jamerson pleading for him to just switch to the R301, finish the kills, do what you got to do. But CLG taking care of business, and they grab a big win here in Game 3. And with TSM going out earlier in a couple of games here, it's definitely shaken things up. They took that huge lead to start the day with 31 points in Game 1, but things have changed drastically since then. As we head over to Stormpoint, the question will be, can teams jump ahead of our big boys at the top of the Mobile 1 leaderboard? We will find out in just a little bit. Before we go to a break, and of course remember, giveaway soon, so don't go far. Let's talk about PvE, though. It's something new we're doing at esports arenas all across the country. And we know some of you folks, you like to compete in big esports events, but some folks want esports competition in a little bit more bite-sized pieces. Well, PvE provides just that. All you have to do, go out to your local esports arena today. You can find one near you with exclamation point locations in Twitch chat. You purchase some tokens, and you can enter in multiple different leaderboards. These leaderboards will be across multiple different games and modes, things like Aim Labs, Valorant, Apex Legends, Guilty Gear Strive, and more. And all you have to do is you enter, you put up your best scores, and you can win. We have thousands of dollars in prizes going every single week. We're always switching things up with the games and modes, so things are very fresh. And if you have games that you want to see, you can certainly let us know. So go to your local esports arena, purchase some tokens, enter, and you can win. And the nice thing is you can keep track of your scores and how they compare to the rest of the competition all week long. We have a 24/7 live stream running over on our YouTube channel where you can track your scores. So if you fall down that leaderboard a little bit early in the week, you can make sure that you know and head back into esports arena to reclaim that top spot. So head out to an esports arena today and compete in PvE. We'd love to see you there. We're going to go to a quick break right now. The first half in the books, but plenty more to come. We head out to Storm Point, and Jamerson and T-Squared will get you ready for all of that action when we come back.
Listen up. Esports should be for everyone. That's why Esports Arenas launched our own tournament series called Player vs. Everyone, where you get to compete at multiple different titles, multiple different locations, whenever you want. Just watch this and check it out. I believe we have the best Apex Legends PvE player. Oh, I think he's close to breaking the record. Best Apex Legends player in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Whoa, whoa, Tyler, hold up a second. We got someone out here in Salt Lake about to smash the record. What'd I tell you? Salt Lake City every time.
PvE has something for everyone. Here in Miami, we absolutely crush it at Mario Kart. Come to the final part. Oh, there we go. And that's going to be the top score for the day. See if you can beat that on the leaderboard.
The day's not over yet, Luke. Here at Esports Arena Cincinnati, we have somebody who's going to beat the Mario Kart record. So close. But the good news is you can always try again.
That's PvE in a nutshell. So find your nearest esports arena because it could be you atop the leaderboard. See you later.
All right, welcome back to Series E. Just before the break in our final map of World's Edge, it was CLG taking the win at that skyhook finish. So let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard now to see where everyone stands with that dub. CLG ends up now in first place with 41 points. TSM only getting what, like 2 points? Maybe, well, no, this is actually 6 points or 7 points in the last 2 games.
Phenomenal performance there from CLG, and again, hats off for them for showing just the layers of Apex that needs to be played to have a pop-off game like that. I mean, that was so much experience all in one. C9, they were in 5th place before that started, and they didn't really, have a pop-off game in their own right. But again, staying in that running, that's going to be key for them, especially with their new roster. We saw the way that they were able to manhandle TSM over towards Fragment East when they go and hit them with that hit them with that third party. But I cannot wait to get on over towards Storm Point now.
Yeah, I mean, we still have 3 games left to go. In the middle of the pack are all right there. I mean, 3 teams, or excuse me, about 5 teams currently in 20 points, so about 21 points off of CLG at the very least. So there can definitely be a lot of shakeups in the leaderboard once we swap on over to Storm Point. I mean, it's going to be, of course, a different setting, right? Some teams might be running the same compositions. We might be seeing some swap-offs depending on how they're feeling comfortable. But I've been loving seeing so far here in Series E, teams trying out some new compositions. I mean, one of them, we're seeing some fuses coming out as well. It's been an interesting time to say the least, and I love this kind of lead up to the ALGS where teams are just not afraid to try new things out.
And if Game 4 hasn't started yet, I would love to talk about the cumulative leaderboard, because I think we may have, some new viewers in here for Series E on their Pro Night. And if this is your first time ever watching Series E, welcome. We're into Season 5 now. So Jamerson and I have been doing this for a while, and it's great to see so many new faces come through, and the amount of competition that we've seen today is phenomenal. We have 1 month left, and these are the teams that are locked in as our partner teams. They're fighting to try to make it into the next season. And right now, look at that bubble right where Intel, Nerf, and Tyson are. Those are the teams to really watch right now.
Yeah, for Excedrin, they're just still slow playing things, right? They're just trying to consistently put on like 5 to 10 points per game, and that just keeps them in the lead. They are comfortably in the first place. I don't see them falling down into the relegations areas, especially seeing how between them and Nerf, there's almost 200 points. So yeah, it's all about that middle of the pack at this point. Intel, Nerf, Tyson, all in the running. And Mike and Ike, unfortunately, after tonight's performances so far, after their first 3 games, they have dropped back down to 7th place. So that momentum they built up from last night's games, slowly getting away from them, but maybe it is the open nights that they'll have to bank on to try and catch up against the rest of the lobby.
And we saw, again, Razor in game number 1 having a pretty good performance. I've been impressed with Blakeu's Newcastle that he's been doing every single time that he's needed to be in position. We've seen him kind of, follow suit right there. I guess in terms of the pro teams, one of the teams that I'm really rooting for to kind of get it together for the next 3 games on Storm Point would be ASR, because, that just goes to show how competitive this lobby is. We're talking about 3 of the best players in Apex Legends. You have Alberlo, you have Slurp, you have Reptar. These are no pushovers, but yet they weren't able to accumulate that many points from the first 3 games. And I really want to see this team do well. Again, this is a team that most likely isn't signed right now. If they could get some good momentum going forward and, build up on their team resume a little bit, then I think that they could really do special things. But that's what competing in Series E is about. You could sit there and play ranked all day, but how do you stack up against the best in the world? How do you stack up against the best in North America? Well, we have them here today, and you can see how stacked this lobby is. Points are extremely hard to come by.
Yeah, basically just a roster of like organization orphans, I guess you can call them at this point. Just trying to get together a squad before ALGS. And so I would love to see them, of course, consistently competing. Alberlele's been there since day number 1, since his original pickup from TSM way back when, 3-4 years ago. I can't believe it's actually been that long that we've had a competitive Apex. I mean, TSM has been TSM essentially for the last 4 years with reps. And how, Alberlele was the original member. Well, not Alberlele, Prodigy Aces, I think, maybe? I'm trying to quite remember. I can't quite remember right now. But yeah, it's been an extremely long time. But here we go. We did have, it seems like, a crash, and then we had to reset the lobby, which is why we had a small little bit of delay. But we are now into Legend Select for our first game on Storm Point. Let's get into game number 4. We are seeing, we've got the Vantage
Bang.
Vizio have been trying to run that, and this is going to be interesting. Blitzen is getting off the fuse to pick up the Seer, so they're still looking to get very aggressive with this one. They've got the Octane to try and follow up with the jump pads if they end up getting some critical damage off, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that as well.
Yeah, CLG just plays Legend Roulette. That's how they come up with their composition, because this is, again, just very unorthodox. You don't typically see these three played together. Yeah, Bloodhound and Bang, that's a classic, season 0, season 1 type of thing. But throwing that in with Crypto so you can go and gather zone information. We saw a big win from CLG last week that they should not have taken that win. Nano got knocked numerous times. They were able to go throughout the map and get the reses and come back and have a phenomenal game. Let's see if they could capitalize on the momentum that they got in game number 3. Moving on over from World's Edge to Storm Point, and we're on board with the winners, CLG, just dominating that final game.
Yeah, so no caustic for them this time around, but again, they have been able to utilize these smokes quite well for Nano. On the Bangalore, we have Excedrin dropping over at North Pad. Things are going down, but they do have a relatively large split, so they might not be getting contested here. It's a blue armor for them to pick up, and the Sentinels are actually here for that contest. So Sentinels, this might be the turnaround for them. Not having to take the fight up against TSM, etc., and have that high ground angle. Mike and Ike fighting, though, early on. ASR on the other side of this one, as MJ is trying to chase after Reptar right now, who was able to just piece in with that wingman, take out one. We'll see if they can at least try and recover him and get that res up. Gonna be out in the open here, and so it looks like Mike and Ike do at least recover, but they have been slowed down on this loop path.
Wingman is such a powerful gun to start, but the Havoc is respectable as well for Albarelli. Great shots across the map, not easy to connect at that type of distance. The recoil control absolutely insane. Now it's up to Wave. Can he get this? A little bit of dipsy doodle there. And he is able to get the knock, but the tap strafing was a little bit too much for him to handle, as OXG looks like they are in a 2-on-1 situation. And you know what, the L-Star, a lot of people forget that this thing got a small buff overall, and it still does a decent amount of damage, but you have to hit your shots.
Yeah.
Hubsky switching on over to the Wingman, and ESA going out. It's been tough for them. Shout out to Davis again for filling in, but this has not been the day that they've been looking for.
Yeah, we get our first look at the rings. A little bit of antenna in. We got some launch pad as well. And we got complexity going in to play off that river side. And so they are center zone right now. And they should feel relatively safe on this side. Not too many teams should be rotating in from the northeast. You can see it's actually pretty clear. We have Nerf out there along with G2 and Team Tyson. Of multiple ways to approach this one. For TSM, though, I'm wondering if they want to continue to try and play this one on the edge. They can't really expect this one to pull down to antenna. We rarely see antenna circles now. So they have the option to try and play southwest side. Maybe try and take a fight up against the Atlanta Premier or the team coming out from Barometer.
The good thing is they could take this, get the kill points like you were talking about, and then just skyward dive into a good position, because there's a lot of cover when it comes to Storm Point. That's why you saw a lot of players before the Gibby nerfs were going with Gibby-less compositions, because there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of areas that you can kind of hide, there's a lot of cover basically in terms of where you could put yourself up. So this plays into TSM's strengths, and I like that you brought that up, because they really set the pace for the variety of how you should play this game. Originally, they would get in the middle of the zone. Now they're looking for a lot more fighting. It's also exciting to see them sticking with the same composition, too, so they can just continue to work on their team fighting. And we already know how strong they are individually, how strong their team is. But being able to play both of the same legends on both maps is going to just help out a little bit more, right? And that's why you have to have even respect for these players. Like, I mean, Turns is most likely playing something different. We know that Nano's been playing something different too. So it's not easy just to get in that mentality immediately and just say, all right, I'm going to play a completely different legend at the highest level possible.
TSM are able to rotate for a free roll drop there. Verholz ends up picking up that bow check bow. This is going to be a little bit scary for the teams around them now. House ends up spotting out a squad over by that launch side. And they might want to try and play off of it. I don't think the beacon has spawned, though, unfortunately for them. So this isn't going to be the hugest of wins, just getting some placement, kill points course, this will be nice, but really you want to kind of leverage that for a better position overall. The G7 Scout in the hands of Hal. He doesn't quite have enough in the mag. Unfortunately, no extended mag there for him as he ends up getting tagged, standing still for a little bit too long. But Reps and Verhulst are still trying to give chase, or at least apply some pressure onto them. But Al knows that there's just too many teams around them right now that they can't really chase after this one. So climbing back up that hill to try and find a different position, maybe playing out of Antenna now, as we do actually have a fight taking place on the south side between the teams over at Barometer and Shipfall.
Saying gonna go for the heels over here, but this is a power spot. That is such a dominating position. Atlanta Premier, second place in the thermal station ending, coming in and taking Vizio out. Looking really strong in the way that they were able to do that, barely taking any damage as well. But that positioning previously on top of that high bridge is a go-to power spot, and it's going to be very tough for other teams to go and push them off. Nerf looking down on the low ground saying, hey, how do we get up there? Is there any shot that we could get some damage on this team? At this point, all you're doing is griefing your utility. That's going to cost a couple of cells, and very similar to what happened previously in Thermal Station, where G2 had the high ground. They were shooting down. You need weapons like the longbow, like the scout, whatever you may pick or find, and you need to have that poke damage. So it's perfect on Blakeu especially.
Yeah, Blakeu has been absurdly strong with these sniper rifles. Griefing saying a little bit there, but actually it does him a favor. The Syracuse comes in, he knocks him off at the same time, and so he doesn't get canceled on that bat. It just kind of worked out. But here's Sentinels, though. They don't go for that early 50-50 fight. They end up backing away against Team Excedrin. They are still on the north side of the zone, as it looks like they might be trying to play off this beacon, but they have a team ahead of them, and so they would like to find the fight. They would like to try and make up for the last 3 games here, as the exhibit has gone down. Xenox and company not in it quite yet, and so they're going to try and wait this one out just a bit. They do have time to work with. It's Mike and Ike on the other side of this one. MJ going to the skies with that grab lift. He only hits one, but he will go ahead and try and push forward off of that one. Mar is taking so much damage here, but MJ is still covering that high ground angle for his team. Mar will be able to heal up for now, and it's just a reset on either side. You got isolated players out here, so Mike and Ike have an option to just try and full send it onto one, especially that player that's playing off of that gravity cannon.
Nice thermite damage, though. It has to slow things down temporarily, and the peak shoot, the sky nades are on point right now. It's crazy for MJ. I'm not even quite sure how he's alive right now. Having a bat in this situation or a Phoenix would be huge, but now Sentinel's starting to push up. Crust is busting out the Nox gas grenade. There goes a singularity, but it's just not in the right position as Sentinels has Mike and Ike on the ropes right now. There you go. That's someone has to shoot it, right?
They didn't want to. You can see how they just did not want to deal with that at all. They end up only getting the one knock here and the thirst onto MJ. I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for them to pick up that banner unless NRG creates some chaos here. Maybe there's a chance now for Mike and Ike to come back. It's going to be a 3v3. Sentinels. Oh, whoopsie. Unfortunately, Nathan ends up just holding S just a little bit too long, but it does slow one down enough. That's the first knock onto Lou. And now Nathan going for that peek. Xenox will fall here. NRG about to knock out Team Sentinels. But again, they have to worry about the third party themselves here. Even though they haven't lost anyone, they're still taking a lot of flesh damage here. So that slows down their reset. That's Xenox getting finished off. Now Nathan needs to hit that med kit.
And the PK is coming through. Mike and Ike doubled back. They're trying to get that banner, but it looks like they are just going to get the clap instead. And NRG, clean. I mean, not the cleanest, right? We all know what happened with that. But you know what? I think he was just saying, I'm going to make this a little harder on myself, Jamerson, you know, and then I'm going to impress you with some amazing shots after that. Let's be honest, those shots with the flat line were absolutely ridiculous. Atlanta Premier with the rotation now, looking pretty solid with the scout, landing about 4 shots on the enemy team to charge, get his Evo shield charged up a little bit closer. But again, Jamerson, you brought it up before. Third parties, very common here, very popular. You're definitely anticipating one coming here if this fight lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah, the micro drones did connect onto Crook as he does take height, but he's getting challenged for now. Missile Swarm just to clear the angle and toss in the nade just to play a little bit more space here, and that's enough to at least gain control over the high ground, forcing them all the way back. So Crook has done a successful job of just utilizing his abilities alone just to play for position, but he does need the backup. I want to kind of see the whole of Atlanta Premier getting ready for this push right now, because they do have them contained. They have dropped down now and are looking to try and finish off Oxygen. We're just cutting off all of these angles. You see that they have set up the fences for themselves. Does Kubsky have the interception pylon? He does not. It's 40% off. It doesn't even seem like he has an ultimate excel. So this is looking a little bit scary. But for Atlanta Premier, they have to know they don't hear the interception pylon. They should be able to send it in.
Problem is right now is you don't have enough fences down. Exactly. Kubsky realizing that, and he's like, oh, I got to cover each single door. Got to have more of a presence here, not only so you could fall back to a spot, but just in case a third party does come in, you have that area where you could go and lock down and the home base so everybody understands where to go. But playing and coexisting with this team here, you want to just kind of play it safe, because look at the amount of teams that are in the vicinity. CLG's coming in. You have TSM over towards the side. Intel is battling it out with Excedrin. Crust, the lone player from Sentinels, making his way around. You have ASR about to meet up with C9, so this is going to be a pretty explosive fight.
This is a terrible angle for them. They do have that interception pylon down with that mobile shield to coverage, and they do toss down that shield wall to get up top. There it is. The interception pylon going down. They need it. SlurpG gets instantly deleted. Rocker is in their face with that EVA 8, but somehow they end up taking out Zach Mazer, Rocker, and now they're just trying to reset for themselves. They need to get SlurpG up, and they need to get him out of zone. They're just kind of stuck here on the wall, but they will be able to reset. I don't know what happened to Cloud9 there when they had such a beautiful position to try and gatekeep from.
They got rack attacked in the back. I believe Bowser joined the party from long range, and unless someone from ASR threw some sort of nade that did a ton of damage, I believe a third party helped out with that fight, and I was really worried for ASR with how poorly that was going from Alberlily's screen. Rack attack with the damage. I think it was the scout from long range as we hop on board with Razor and where their positioning is, again, over towards that launch pad area. Such a powerful spot where Blakeu is. A lot of kill potential over here, but TSM hasn't left their spot, and there's a reason. They are waiting for this zone to close as Oxygen gets eliminated so they could capitalize on all the teams that are rotating from the west.
Yeah, we have a hard pull going over towards that launch pad area. So Razor already set up for it. They have the continual ring scans. They have the Newcastle they can set up to get the safe scans on that ring as well. For Excedrin, though, they are fighting out of antenna now. This is one of the squads that could get gate kept by TSM, who are playing that eastern choke point now. Rack Attack find themselves in a fight currently. Bowser needs some time to heal up. They do have the bubble if things go a little bit awry, and he's going to go ahead and toss that one down. Bowser still needs time to heal up, though, and this team is just tanking the ring damage. This is zone number 3. Quick clear on that singularity. I didn't even hear it. It's G2 on the other side of this one. Designful, the first one to fall. And now Rack Attack will try and force the issue here. They know that they should be a little bit low on HP, but you can hear them getting called back. Bowser says, hey, don't overextend on this one. That's a really good call. You saw that Valkyrie dropping a little bit low. And so now Atlanta Premier having to deal with this contest as the ring will be closing in 30 seconds. Nice grab lift into the shots onto Kimchi Lee, taking him out.
Yeah, really nice shots with the Volt there. Crook is able to get his battery off. Enemy now going to back off as well. Looks like he does have a handful of batteries. I mean, 2 handful of batteries, basically. His energy is now on the move. Going back to that fight with ASR and C9, though, Bowser did join that fight. He's on Vantage. He hit them with the snipers mark. Jamerson got a chance to rewatch that one on the rebroadcast over towards the side. And that snipers mark can put in serious damage if you get hit twice.
Here's Excedrin, unfortunately down Kimchi Lee, so they won't have that gravity lift. Sentinels ends up getting cleaned out, and now Rack Attack, they toss down that exhibit. They're going to charge forward, bubble a little bit early. They got knock onto one, and G2 do get finished off. Rack Attack still playing the southeast side. Extremely strong point for them, but CLG were on the lurk. Unable to find the timing, though, as they can try and push forward off of this Rolling Thunder to try and clear it out. And yep, Nano's going to go for it. Rolling Thunder out, but he gets tagged. Nades coming in. They're narrowly able to dodge that one out thanks to the double time. But the nade spam is here for that squad. Now Rack Attack gonna try and dance around these shots. The nade comes in. Nano gets tagged. He needs to fall back once again. and CLG are running out on this time. They've used so much of their utility. The smokes are in. Demi has the Beast in the Hunt popped, I believe. He should get a scan down now, and he's right on top of them. But again, the defensive setup coming out from Rack Attack seems to be too much, and CLG are sent packing.
That's tough. I mean, some great smokes coming through. The Rolling Thunder was well placed, but the nades to split up the team, and then now you're running low on your resources, running low on batteries. Yeah, a lot of cells for Mamba, but the importance of these batteries in these small skirmishes are super, super crucial. Is enemy going to join the kill lead over here? TSM now on the hunt. It's going to be a grab lift, but his PK shot's not hitting for Hal as much as he was hoping for. I think they have this player on the ropes, though, and that should be an easy cleanup for TSM. Everybody's still extremely healthy over here. Blake going to get some kills onto Petty Boss. That's going to be Nerf versus Razor, and Hal just infiltrating this building for free. Rep's the only one necessarily to take damage throughout all of that, but that's been the TSM special all day. You hide in a building and you get smoked out.
Yeah, TSM looked like they were just going clay pigeon shooting, and that's off of the back of the exhibit, just knowing all the angles. As Razor have lost out on Boxa T, but they finish off Nerf. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if they'll have an opportunity to try and plug him back in. There is a respawn beacon there. NRG still patrolling around the northern side of the edges, as might have been able to spot out a squad. They're going to try and rotate around this one, maybe come in from the hard north side. Looks like CLG versus Rack Attack right now, and CLG end up going down finally. That fight going the way of Rack Attack. This was an extended one for them, but it was just eating out the resources that CLG tried to expend on that original push. Kind of punished them ultimately in the end there, and Rack Attack took advantage of that. NRG, though, here on the north side, making their way into Launchpad.
You can see Tyson was eliminated. NRG now playing very consistent throughout the day. And ASR, remember we were talking about them before Game 4 started. They really needed to pick it up, and they have. Maybe a little bit lucky with the help that they had from Bowser, who's now the kill leader with 5 on Vantage. I believe we have 2 Vantages in the lobby, too. And with all this open area, Sniper really, really important. Not only that, you get the armor check with the passive. You get to see how many players are on the team as well. So if you need to wonder, hey, should we take this fight? You're going to have all of that information.
Yeah, nice little spot here for ASR as they're playing on the southwest side. They've got the sand dune along with these rocks, so Albralele will have that safe interception pylon. Again, with how slow things should be now with it coming down to the final 6 squads, and it's just round number 4, he will have plenty of time to be able to get another interception pylon without having to expend an ultimate excel. TSM on the look for a fight, but Reps goes down. Nathan was in his face with that flatline, and TSM now are fighting into a 3v2, but Verholst is ready to take it, pushing forward. He ends up falling, and Hal was not there to try and back him up. NRG cleans up TSM, and they back away. Renegades were looking for the third party that entire time, but it was a clean fight for NRG, and so they just survive for now. Razor, throughout all that, do end up getting Boxa T back into this game. Now the ring is pulling away from them, so this is going to come down to Blake Yu with that shield wall, that Newcastle wall, to try and set up a decent early forward position for them.
Tough situation for Hal to be in, because I believe he had scout PK, and that's why he was just, you know, shooting these PK shots from a fairly long range. And hello, don't stand still that long, as Sang's going to punish you for that one with the R301 3X, which is such a powerful scope on this weapon. If you're able to hit your shots like that, you're going to stop the heals over towards the bottom, also revealing that that player is a rat. But Razor's been up here for quite some time. They had their little skirmish with Nerf. They lost on a player. They were able to get him back in there. Saw the longbow connecting. Uh-oh. Reptar with the bow. The lobby's done for.
Yeah, NRG versus Renegades right now. Sweet getting the knock onto Yubin. And he secures that thirst as well. And Razor are actually happy to see the fights taking place underneath them right now, because it frees it up a little bit more for them for the drop down. They'll be able to toss down that Newcastle wall once again. ASR, though, they have to start rotating in. You can see Reptar playing on his ones all the way here on the left side. You've already got Albralele and Slurpee set up for their zone, and you can see why. They've got that interception pylon down, I believe, fairly shortly at the very least, setting up the fences for themselves. So ASR are basically on the slow side of the zone now, while all the other teams are stacked on top of each other there inside of Launchpad.
The man that basically got this weapon created, now it's in his hands. And he just started to heat up a little bit. You know, the first couple shots were warning shots, but they do have a great position right now on the ASR side, and this is exciting to see. Again, with this composition that they were using earlier, now they're in a prime spot. That's exactly what you want to do. Pick up some early kill points. Oh, the black hole coming down, the nades left and right. Blake doing a great job of using the shield, but now the shield is gone. NRG just running away from this one. Looks like they're getting shot in the back as well, and maybe worried about getting pinched in between both teams, but what a job by Blake, who's staying alive.
Rack Attack finally going down in 5th place. We are now down to our final 4 squads. One team currently as a duo. ASR trying to take advantage of the fact that the cooldowns are not quite there yet for Razor. You can see they've got that high ground, they've got the angles. There's a spray down, 186 to take out Fox and T. And now ASR trying to play off the momentum here, but it's going to be slowed down as Reptar needs to reset. He does not want to throw anything here as we are now down to our final 3 squads. Razor, though, on the verge of getting knocked down. It's about to come down to a 3v2, it seems like, with NRG in just a moment. Might be a 3v3. We'll find out. There it is. Razor eliminated, and it is a 3v2. And Reptar is set up on that high ground once again, dishing out the damage, and now he's ready to swap off with his teammates. But he almost goes down. There's the Newcastle wall. Albralele on the right-hand side. NRG with the missile swarm brings it down to a 2v2, and they are still healthy. Nathan gets a quick armor swap as he's right back into the fight. Gilderson swapping down, but Albralele gets the knock on to Nathan. It's a 2-man swing on Alpha. Gilderson, can he do it? No, it's going to be ASR to take the win here in game number 4.
So excited to see this team pull it together, and hey, they could have got eliminated so much earlier if Bowser doesn't come in with that third party onto C9 from behind. But sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky, get that confidence going, and once you get the ball rolling, sometimes for these players it doesn't stop. What a game from ASR. Way to close it out. Reptar getting aggressive on Valkyrie, finding the bow. That's exactly what you needed if you had a poor first start on World's Edge, turning things around on Stormpoint. Congrats to ASR.
Yeah, and that was interesting to see how this kind of game played out here. Our first game of Stormpoint, we had some roster swaps, some legends being swapped around, but for the most part, it was consistent across the majority of the lobby. And we got to see, again, teams kind of prioritizing center zone, teams trying to play on the edges. These fights on the edges can be extremely volatile, though, but still, what an amazing performance so far from all of our teams. And what a finish off for ASR, taking that win in game number 4, really bouncing back after kind of struggling there on Stormpoint. On World's Edge.
Yeah, it was definitely a struggle for them. I mean, I don't recall how many points they had, but it was below 10. And they got that just in kill points alone, I believe, in that game. So, you know, going back to the composition that they had, they played it very well. Everyone kind of played in unison. Albralele not entry fragging is pretty interesting to me, but leaving that in the hands of Reptar. Reptar did a great job. He was adding a lot of pressure over, like when Razor was trying to heal, he got on top of them. When NRG tried to come around, he got on top of them as well. Didn't take health damage. Whenever he lost his shields, he backed down. Everybody kind of baited and switched with one another. That's how you play that one. And it all started again with that fight that they won against C9. So, you know, without that type of game, you wonder what would have happened to the rest of the lobby, right? Because now with a team like this getting that type of momentum, you have to be feeling good about it. Slowly but surely, though, even though Energy didn't win that game, they've been playing consistent as well.
Yeah, that's the important part. Again, just kind of stem the bleeding for the games that you're not having a pop-off moment, just as long as you're consistently putting down points, keeping basically on pace with the staff. And this is the first unfortunate kind of highlight that we have. Nathan tries to drop down that singularity, but ends up kind of flowing down at least one from that retreat. So even though it wasn't the most optimal, it still worked out for them.
Yeah, a little bit of a low light there instead of a highlight, but he ends up recovering. The best play from Sentinels all day was Senox with that knockdown shield, honestly. I mean, it's been a really tough day for them overall. Every single time that they get something going, they get shut down. This is the fight that changed things around for ASR. It was so sloppy. They could have put the ult down earlier. Slurp gets knocked. All of a sudden, every single person is no shields, and you wonder why. They're getting sniped in the back by Bowser the entire time. So Reptar coming through and doing some decent entry damage, but this would have been another early exit for ASR. Instead, they turned it around and got that confidence flowing. And when you're struggling like that, again, sometimes getting lucky is all you need. So congrats for ASR for putting together a great game.
Yeah, let's go ahead and send it on over to Yeso now to break down game number 4 for us. Yeso, take it away.
Good eye from Tom there on ASR's struggle in the first half. Honestly, they came into Game 4 with 4 points to their name, but a solid performance in this one and grabbing a very clutch win will definitely have them up in the mix for that top 5 with 2 more games to go. So still a very big opportunity, especially because TSM's momentum very much stymied after that Game 1 start. A lot of teams getting into the mix, especially C9 and CLG, and now ASR putting their names up there. Let's take a look at our champion squad here for game number 4. They pick up 10 kills to their name, and this is a good squad. When I saw these 3 together, that is a very talented team, and you know, there may be some growing pains in terms of, you know, finding that kind of comfort level playing together, but if this is a squad that sticks together, I'm very excited to see what they can do. Of course, you know, Reptar and Alb coming off of, you know, some big changes, leaving teams that they've been with here for a little while. And Slurpee G, of course, you know, we got to see a lot of Slurpee last season in Series E playing with Team Intel. So just a lot of talent on this roster, and I hope we get to continue to see more from them because that was a great game from them here. Let's take a look at our Mobile One high performance moment here for our first game on Storm Point for the day, and it is going to be on board here with TSM. 10 squads remaining, and TSM just on the hunt here. Great shots from Hal, taking the grab lift there, using that PK at some range. Doesn't matter that you can run, you cannot hide here from TSM, and they just hold the edge here, threatening so much onto these players, and it's a very quick peek in, and it's AP that are going to fall because TSM just really not missing their shots. As soon as they find that opening to get inside, it's a very quick cleanup. But it all starts here with Hal, just again, applying so much pressure with the PK. And it's just difficult, man. TSM are just so polished when they are on their game, and it's why it's been, you know, so important that squads have kind of been able to catch them earlier in these games and stop their momentum, because, you know, if TSM are winning 2 or 3 fights a game, they really start to pull away from the pack. But teams have been able to slow them down, keep them within arm's reach here, and it's why that they, you know, weren't in first place going into the second half. It's the CLG show, C9 and others. We're going to go to a quick break right now. Just want to say, though, ton of viewers in the stream here today. Want to just say welcome. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. I hope you are enjoying the show. Do want to remind you, we've got Apex Legends here every Tuesday and Wednesday night. It's open night on Tuesdays, which means the partnered squad and free signups. You know, sometimes we see squads like Sentinels and others coming in there. And then, of course, every Wednesday, it's Pro Night here. The partnered squads, the pro teams, duking it out. It's tons of action, so we're glad you're here for the fun, and we hope you stick around. We've got more giveaways here later on in the night. We're going to a break right now. When we come back, though, it's Game 5, and Jamerson and T-Squared will have the action for you when we come back.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast. Excedrin, game over for headaches.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Welcome back to Series E here. It is Intel Week and it is Pro Night, but it was ASR that ended up taking the win on our first map of Stormpoint, and it was a nice 10-kill win for them as well, which will propel them up pretty far on the leaderboard. Speaking of which, let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see where they stand now off of that victory. And so they actually propel themselves into 7th place now, just behind Team Razor with 26 points. But if we take a look at the top of the leaderboard, TSM, CLG, Atlanta Premier, and NRG, all within reach of each other.
Atlanta Premier is one of those teams that has been flying under the radar. They've been playing really well over the last couple of months. It's nice to see them coming into full form here today. And, you know, G2 started off pretty hot as well, but they've slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, so it's very unfortunate, but right now it seems like Razor are our best partnered squad so far on the evening. Excedrin aren't too far behind them, along with Team Nerf, both at 24 points there behind Team Razor. So there's still room for movement here as we've been trading away wins. So no team has really kind of ran away with this one. Like we said, we have 4 teams currently basically well within reach of each other. And after 2 games, depending on performances, even the middle of the pack teams can catch up. But they need to do it here if they want to have a shot at our top 2 placements. We have $2,000 on the line, and we are about to head into game number 5. Legend Select, we did see some swap-offs when it came to Storm Point, as we had, you know, some pretty big swap-off for CLG, no longer running that caustic for themselves, and finding it a little bit difficult to find the fight, I believe, up against Rack Attack earlier on because of it, you know, even though they try to leverage that Bangalore smoke for that. Still, I'm glad that we're seeing them really trying to stretch that composition here, make that one work on Storm Point, but so far it has not yet. But we will be joining on board with ASR, who are dropping down here at the downed Beast. I believe they might have ran into a squad a little bit early on, but they are spreading just a bit, so they should be relatively safe here. It's Mike and Ike that's inside of the downed Beast, so we might have a fight in just a moment.
Looks like we already do have another fight too. Sentinels with their 5th 50-50 in a row, and this has just been tough to watch for Sentinels. I mean, they're taking damage. They're not really getting any RNG. When they do win a fight, they get third-partied. Tough go at it, but this is what the pro players do. They adjust, and they definitely don't have any quit in them. So I'm expecting Sentinels to fight even harder here in game number 5 and game number 6. Excedrin taking the high ground. Looking like they are trying to put down some serious damage. Kim Chile with the Spitfire 3X. That's a toxic combo. Add a purple light mag in there, and that'd be all she wrote for the players down below. But now Oxygen Gaming looking like they are still in their 50-50 as well. This is against ESA, so 3 different fights taking place early.
Where did they come from? I didn't even see the door open, but the full 2-man swing out gets that instant knock onto Oi Senpai. Now Oxygen are going to try and take advantage of this nearly broken door, but there's someone up top, and there's the flank out from Pony Head. And Oxygen is all up to protectable here, but he will end up going down. CLG, though, are in place for this third party. The scan's down. Now they're trying to play up top. We'll see if the recovery is here. We'll see if they've got the EMP. At least using that drone to cover off one angle to see if anyone drops down. Should be having it fairly shortly. Demi, though, 10 seconds off with his next scan, but he's going to go ahead and push off and hits the 3-tap, takes out Phony Head. Now CLG about to be successful on this third party. Demi finds one more, and Esports Arena are not long for this world. There's the 33 to finish it off. Esports Arena knocked out. CLG picking things up.
That's so key that they took that third party before Sears Ultimate came up. Now MJ with the shots onto Reptar. This is going to be really getting dropped as well. And the winners from the previous game are down to 1 player. And Slurpee gets eliminated. Mike and Ike. Big team fight there. And a lot of that having to do with the shots and the timing that came through. Taking a look at the zone. It's going to be a mill zone, which is super exciting to see. Bowser and the Rack Attack. They're going to love that one. They're going to be able to set up with the Vantage over there. They also have a beacon scan if they want that one. So nobody setting up in the God spot quite yet. We'll see who gets over there first.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult, especially with how many kind of edge teams that we actually have already in the area right now. But we do have, it looks like, a fight between Vizio and G2 about to break out. G2 playing off the low ground inside of Barometer right now, and they're kind of used to this fight. You can see Designful just holding the angle for now. He's utilizing that passive, hit the Q just in a moment. He does spot out one, half HP, does get tagged as he wants to try and chase after him. Caught out in the middle of the open, and Designful with the wingman will get the first knock onto Blitzen. G2 now, Designful. Oh man, his wingman is just disgusting.
Really is, and he's got the PK in the back pocket, so busting out a really old combo as Vizio's going to get dropped. Vizio's had a lot of success, especially on Storm Point with this composition, but G2 going to shut that one down early, and we haven't had an opportunity to see much of Chaotic Rock today, and I'd love to see his screen just a little bit more. The dude is one of the best R301 players that we have in all of North America, and #1 overall in terms of ranked. So a good pickup for G2. G2, when they were always at their best, played together, grind together, always dominating ranked lobbies. And the teams that play together and practice the most typically get great results. So it's nice to see G2 go with someone that's going to be suitable for their play style. So looking forward to seeing what happens with G2 going forward.
Yeah, they aren't able to chase after it anymore here, but they do have the opportunity at the very least here at Barometer to go ahead and take that pit stop, hit up the crafting. Results is probably going to want to upgrade his armor for free at the very least, unless they find another blue armor around there, but I don't think they are. NRG, though, playing off the top of the down beast, just farming free damage off the Trident. If you can't hit that, I don't know what you're doing here. So they're going to go ahead and utilize that. It looks like Sweet wants to go ahead and full send it. He's calling it. Let's go ahead and push off of this one. Gilderson's is going to be on the front line. Nathan does have that singularity to toss down with that grav lift to catch an angle here, as that team might have actually been able to dib out with that Trident. We'll see. NRG are still giving chase for the time being. I don't know if you can actually catch up to a Trident here, but they are definitely trying.
So many songs I want to see when I see people just rolling in the Trident, but we'll save that for karaoke night. But Excedrin is looking like they want to push inside of this building. Vizio gets eliminated. NRG picking up a knock onto Pau as well, and to Euban, so Renegades is on the ropes. But this is, again, the composition that you don't want to face when you are dealing with sitting inside of a building. And that's why you see a lot of Watsons are being popular, because if you want to set up, you want to avoid the black hole. But right now, it seems like Excedrin is a little bit hesitant to push in. Maybe it's because of the caustic, or maybe it's because they're just not getting the information that they were hoping for.
Yeah. Sentinels, though, this is their second time backing away from this 50-50 up against Excedrin. Very similar rotation to what we had. Again, we'll see if this ends up punishing them. Here comes the nades once more that they have to dance around. See how Crust sets up with these barrels. It's kind of in the middle there. It's surprising that he doesn't have it a little bit more forward to try and maybe cover a climb up from someone. Does have one more barrel. Unfortunately, they don't have a gold helmet or anything on him, so his cooldowns are just taking a little bit too long. He does have the Nox gas grenade ready, though, but just not able to find the angles. They don't even know where this squad is because, well, they're not rocking that seer. So this is a blind fight for them, and it's all about contact. Here comes out a nade, as it looks like Nerf might be getting themselves into a fight. What the hell is going on there?
Turns is going to have to pop a battery. So is Petty. Looks like they're going to have to reset basically immediately. Forsey does have his Q if he wants to go and throw this one out, but again, when you are on the outside of the building, you're really vulnerable to a potential third party or long range shots. So small advantage is going on in Nerf in terms of positioning. Obviously having high ground is great, but you can see why everyone's playing so safe. That's Rakinishu playing it safe. C9 getting eliminated by G2, actually. That's chaotic. Picking up some kills there with Resulta. They're going to combine to be able to drop C9. Unfortunate for C9. His Sentinel's finally getting pushed. Is this still Excedrin in the area? I believe so.
Oh boy, Crust is low. They're trying to pre-pop these barrels. Actually misses that shot there. Bubbled down. Actually blocks the shot from Senox. Now Lou is going to try and chase after them. They actually end up taking down Cruisin by enough time. So it's down to a 3v2, but they still need to try and control heights. Excedrin do get knocked out. So nice turtling out there from Sentinels, and it doesn't seem like there's a third party here this time around to punish them. And so now maybe this is the game that Sentinels can really try and recover after the last four. Team Tyson up at up at Mills right now. They do have that high ground angle for themselves. Davis Wave popping, Z Davis popping that ultimate excel to maybe get down an interception pylon, but I don't know if you really want it at the rooftop. Even with the Newcastle wall up here, there are so many angles where it could get taken out, and are actually pushing out. They might have a player isolated. There's one. Davis actually challenges forward, and unfortunately, Oxy Aries misses almost all of that there. There was a huge opportunity that they were not able to capitalize off of, but Z Davis does stay alive. Now Joey Blackout with this high ground angle off that 30-30 does spot one quite possibly, but they do not end up finding anything off of this. So they just back away now. We'll see if they can maybe try and retake Mills, but that push now kind of punishes them because they were set up for that Mills rooftop.
Oxy airball. That's what I'm going to call that clip. That was not what you're looking for in the wingman. But hey, I'll be honest. Hal getting some knocks over too onto Sang, but that's what the wingman's all about. You'll be surprised. I mean, Oxy is one of our strongest players that we have in terms of our partner players. That's why he's signed and that's why he's playing in this lobby right now. We're Series E. I hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I'm not good with the scout. I'm not good with the wingman." Because it's a single shot weapon, you can get really upset that you don't hit your shots and then you just kind of give up on the weapon. That's not the case. It's okay to miss some shots here and there. You're not going to hit every single one like maybe you will with an automatic weapon. It feels a lot better when you see those numbers light up when you're hitting someone with an R301 or an R9 or a flat line. So if you are wondering how to get better with these weapons, the best way to do it is use them, as TSM now starting to push in and try to capitalize on their kills.
Do have them covered behind there, as you can see that Imperial Hal is the first one on contact, having to back away because of that missile storm as he hits up that bat. But Verhulst and Reps are now starting to climb forward. Big Evan now should have that angle onto that squad with the pressure that Hal has been applying onto them. Arcstar in, and that's the exhibit out. No, Verhulst doesn't get the knock quite yet. Waiting out that gravity lift, backing away here as they're just waiting this one out. Maybe they can clear out that exhibit and then toss one of their own down the slide down from that team, trying to make it into the building. Reps is connecting with that G7 scout, but does not get the knock. The singularity has been used as well. Reps has one behind the rocks. It might be two, actually. And that team narrowly not making it out. That's going to be G2 losing out on Resulta.
And notice how they immediately shift focus to try to get the knock on the down player, because you do not want to have them get this res. Hal gets knocked. That's going to be chaotic. So now we're in a 2-on-2 situation. Reps getting a little bit over aggressive. G2 turning this back around. And now you can see why this man was picked up. They are turning this 2v3 right back onto TSM.
Yeah, Chaotic basically just going for shoulder peeks here. Atlanta Premier just lurking the entire time, looking for the third party. And so now you have the full recovery, and it's just TSM probably on the verge of getting knocked out here in 12th place. Not too many kill points either. Atlanta Premier have a nice angle set up, but they got a knock on to Designful. So now both teams on the verge of getting eliminated, but we might have Chaotic taking out one from Atlanta Premier. You can see enemy dropping extremely low. Singularity has been used. Urban should be able to hit a scan very shortly here. 5 more seconds. As now they're going to go for the peaks and almost gets that spray down. There is Resulta down. Chaotic, the only one up for G2. That's G2 going down in 12th place.
And somehow, someway, TSM gets to reset here. So unfortunate for G2. The thirst does happen on the Reps, which means Atlanta Premier shifted focus over here. But that was such a great opportunity to see exactly what Chaotic was bringing to the table. Very rarely do you see TSM go down like that. Unfortunate for them that they got third party, but that's what Atlanta Premier's been doing so well. The timing's been spot on. Lou gets dropped by Gilderson's car, and Intel looking like they want to go in third party this.
Yeah, NRG though ends up cleaning up Sentinels now, and Intel are still looking for an opportunity, but again, the exhibit is up, so it's going to be difficult to try and find that opening for themselves. Good coverage out from Nathan as he covers that retreat for Sweet, keeping him alive. And they're just going to go ahead and call it here. They pick up the kill points. I imagine they picked up some of the loot, so they just back away off of this one. NRG playing this one extremely well, extremely disciplined, not getting overextended because, yeah, they have to clear out their back. You can see Sweet doing a great job of just covering that choke. See if anyone's coming that way. Nathan now popping an ultimate excel. So maybe when they get another singularity up, or if they get another exhibit, they'll try and reapproach this fight. We do finally get to talk about the ring, and it's going to go ahead and pull in between Mill and the downed Beast. We do have a number of teams there. Tyson along with Mike and Ike. And it looks like Nerf and Rack Attack set up for the late game.
Is that TSM in a... Alright, I was going to say, they are going for a rotation in the middle of everybody. Absolute madness. I can't believe they were able to get away with that one. Hal looks like he's going to toss the ultimate down, but they are not going to get away for much longer. They go out in 10th place. Complexity, they've been waiting for that opportunity for quite some time. AP with the flank coming around for potential third party realizes, wait, all of a sudden these guys are full of shields. And they're going to have to slow play this one. But after that initial damage, enemy's going to go and continue to push this. He does have the black hole if he wants to go and use that one. Newcastle ultimate is going to go down. But we were watching them play the edge. They relocated extremely quick. And I've been really excited to watch this team play. I mean, we know that they're sitting in the top 5 right now. They have a very interesting play style, but this has been one of those squads that is, in terms of stock rising, definitely invest in Atlanta Premier.
Yeah, I think they were at like 39 points before this game. TSM has gone down, so this is their opportunity to catch up with the rest of the top now. They do have the top of the Mills to play off of here. Another team caught on the rotation. Missile Swarm out from Crook isn't going to quite connect, nor are these flatline shots, but he is at least applying that pressure here just to keep that rooftop available for them. This ring is pulling away, though. It is going up more northwest, and so now you have to start worrying about that one. Like we saw earlier on, 4 teams are already in position for that next zone, so Atlanta Premier still have their work cut out for them. They had Complexity ahead of them on that rotate, but we'll see. They should have plenty of utility to try and deal with this now. Complexity are actually still inside of this Northern Mills building, so there might just be a fight out here.
Difficult zone pull for the teams that were expecting this to continue to go mill. One of the things that we mentioned about Stormpoint is how predictable the zones are. Well, this bounce is fairly unpredictable. I think that a majority of this lobby assumed that it was going to go exactly where Complexity was going to be, but it goes on over towards where that respawn area is. Multiple buildings still in, so if you are in those buildings, great job predicting this. But now the teams are going to have to deal with one another. AP's in the vicinity, Complexity's there as well. Nice damage onto Luxford. It gets answered right back, though. And it's just a matter of, will there be a third party? This fight has to take place very quickly.
Yeah, they only have really feasibly like 15 seconds left to try and take this fight before they have to start moving for the zone, because now they have to deal with a backfill of CLG coming up behind them, Intel as well. So half of our remaining lobby actually down here at Mills making the similar rotation. For CLG, they can still try and skirt this around. They've got, the rock to play off of and try to make their way in from there, eat a little bit of the zone as Atlanta Premier just full send it onto Complexity, taking them out. That's a clean wipe for them, and so Team Intel do not have an opening for the third party, but they do have the moment to try and go for that skyward dive instead. Will they be able to find a landing, though? That's the big question.
We'll see if these buildings are open. I mean, we saw the amount of teams that were outside. This last building could be in. They're not getting any scans. They're trying to go for a coexistence underneath. That is a little bit greedy. You never really knew if that other building was free or not, and I believe it was. Nerf's been sitting in here for quite some time. That's the moment they've been waiting for. Rambo's going to drop. Tough rotation for Intel, but really would have loved to see if they could went into that other building. It seemed to be free again. When you get that caster point of view, you could see the player outlines, etc. But a risky call that didn't work out for them.
Ooh, Mike and I getting pushed now. MJ and Mar extremely low, but that castle wall keeps that blocked off, and no one really wants to try and eat that one away with the regular ammo, and so that will allow them to reset. But CLG, oh no, they're just caught up in the smoke right now, and it's going to be Nerf knocking them out. We're now down to 6 squads, 6 full squads at that, until Bowser gets the knock onto AP and finishes off that thirst. Nathan up top gets one more onto AP. That's enemy going down. But throughout all that, Mike and I fight back, taking out one on the NRG squad. They're going to try and go for that res, but Nathan needs to cover this angle just in case. Luckily for them, the castle wall is there, and they can't find the peaks quite yet. They actually grief their own wall to try and go for that thirst, but Gilderson still gets up. They have a nice little gravity lift there to cover off that door to make sure no one can push out. We got another fight taking place, the Rack Attack versus Team Tyson on the hillside, as now NRG are full up and ready to push. MJ goes down, but his body is blocking that door from them. We have that Seer Q out, but NRG are just fighting back into this one, securing that thirst as the flank came out, but Nathan was ready to swat that one down. The Thermite covering that door as they now push forward. NRG looking to finish off Mike and Ike. That's Wizard Coin falling, and now there's only one remaining. Sweet needs to stay up, and he will just in time. The other fight, Rack Attack, it's just one remaining here as Atlanta Premier are down to a duo. We are now down to 5 squads remaining, and it might be 4 as enemy will go down.
Oxiers with the shots, connecting with the wingman there. Is he going to be able to stay alive and get the res? That would be absolutely insane. I mean, zone's closing right now. He'd have to absolutely pop it immediately, but do you feel like Nerf would shift focus over there? You have NRG in the area. Rack Attack is still there. 2 rats and NRG versus Nerf. So 2 teams that have been playing pretty solid today. It's going to be explosive when this goes down.
Oh boy, this time it's gonna be Sweet with the bow check. Bow and he's getting these connects, but not, unfortunately, able to get that last kill. It's going to be Petty Boss taking out Oxy Aries, bringing us down to our final 3 teams. And is that 3v3v1? Petty Boss gets tagged twice to the head. 1 shot remaining here. They want to try and push, but turns. Ends up getting on top of Nathan and ends up taking him down. What a huge play. We'll see if he can try and get a little bit more for himself there. Petty Boss surviving now. It's down to a 3v2v1. Rack Attack is out, and now Nerf. They know they've got the advantage in this 3v2. They should have the exhibit. There's a gravity lift to take the high ground. Gilderson's forced down low as Petty Boss turns and Forsey are all up there looking for this final fight, finding the angle in just a moment. Gilderson's trying his best to heal up. Petty Boss pushes on his own, bringing this down to a 3v2, but here's Forsey now, out with a volt, ends up going down, turns, needs to clutch this one up, and he does. Team Nerf with a narrow team fight win, but they do get it and secure the dub in game number 5.
So many different outcomes that could have happened right there, but you saw what happens when the solo pushes a little bit. That stops the res from going through, and then the full heal came in from Nerf, and that initial knock that they got on an NRG was just completely game-changing. I mean, NRG almost won that fight as a 2v3, but also turns coming through, taking his time, making sure that his PK was charged up, hitting for 104 on that PK shot, and then switching over was key. And this is you know, what you kind of expect from a team that's on the bubble, right? They're fighting for that spot. They're trying to take over where Team Intel is, secure their spot into Series Z, and I believe this also is their second win, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we'll check in with the leaderboard in just a moment here. Taking a look at this fight once again. Oxygen. That was just really unfortunate. That double peek out. Oe Senpai thought he had the door covered, and now he just lets it open, and then Oxygen crumble in the rest of this fight. Oh man, that was very unfortunate. I believe that, yeah, the third party comes out from CLG right after this one.
Yeah, CLG was waiting in the wings, and again, you have the great call over there from Mamba to put the drone on the outside just in case the flank does come through. And that initial scan hit, all of a sudden, boom, you don't look at one angle and you just get completely clapped from the side. Great shots there from Dimmy with the wingman, but an explosive end as we were anticipating. Again, NRG is a team that's very tough to take down on a 3-on-3 situation. Nerf was able to execute. Great job from even Oxy coming in from Team Tyson to pick up some extra points. That is definitely what you want to see on our pro night.
And that's game 5 done. So let's go ahead and send it on over to Yesa to break that one down for us before we head into the final game of the evening. Yesa, go ahead and take it away.
Tom and Jamerson calling that one out correctly. Nerf's second win of the night. And I've gotten a little peek at the standings. I won't spoil anything too big for you. We'll wait for Jamerson and Tom to take a look. But I'll tell you what, Nerf with that second win, there are 5 teams in the hunt for first place going into this final game. It's going to be a very tight race to the finish. Nerf is one of them. A huge victory for them here, and now they have a big opportunity going into Game 6. Let's take a look, though, at our champion squad for this game. See exactly what Nerf was able to get done here in game number 5, because, of course, they get in. They have the numbers advantage in that final fight. They're able to clean up NRG fairly well. It turns, I would say, having to clutch up a little more. That kind of solo push on the first floor did make things a little more interesting at the end than Nerf was probably hoping to see, but they pick up 22 points in this game. Very efficient as well, really not a ton of damage for a 10-kill performance, so Nerf just picking up kills cleanly, concisely, getting the job done. It has them very much in the hunt here going into our last game of the day. Let's take a look at our Mobile One high-performance moment as we get ready for this 6th game of the day, and we see who will take it. And it's just the final push from Nerf here. They use the gravity lift to take control of the roof of this building, and they can be patient. They don't necessarily have to force this, but you see Petty going in early on the low ground and does some damage, but gets knocked pretty quickly. And it's just the fact that Force was able to get a lot of damage, so you essentially have almost 2 one-tap players for turns to come in and clean up here, because if Force does not get as much damage in this fight, this could be completely flipped on its head, and maybe you see NRG able to grab the turnaround here, but it's the fact that Force is able to essentially very quickly set up the first knock there for turns then cleans up the second, and Nerf grabs the win. So very clutch finish there from Turns and the Nerf squad, and now we'll just have to see how things shake out. We're going to a break right now. When we come back, it's Game 6.
All right, welcome back to Series E. Pro Night here for Intel Week, Apex Legends, and it has been quite the ride. We have one game left to go, so let's set the stakes. While we have $2,000 on the line, we have 5 teams currently in the running now, Tom, to try and play for that $2,000. 54, 51, 50, and 47, along with Nerf now at 46. So this is going to be an extremely tight race to the finish.
What an exciting leaderboard we have right here, and I don't think we've had a Pro Night leaderboard this close. I mean, we've seen like maybe 3 teams in there, but 5 teams all this close is absolutely ridiculous. Shout out to all of these teams that have put up a great fight today. I guess in terms of, most surprising teams, and I really don't even think it's that surprising, I would say Atlanta Premier, because again, their stock's been rising recently, but we've been on board with a lot of pop-off moments for teams, but Atlanta Premier has been this team that's quietly putting up a lot of points throughout the night. NRG, they've been in a lot of different final circles. I don't think they've taken a full win yet. TSM had that ridiculous game number 1 and have kind of slowed down after that. So we'll see how game number 6 goes. This is going to be an absolutely explosive finish.
Yeah, it's been a really bad average for TSM. They had about 31 points after game number 1, 16, so they're averaging 4 points per game across the last 4 games. So definitely have been slowed down a lot. Now they'll have one last opportunity to try and clutch up. But again, with how NRG and CLG are playing, along with the consistency out of Atlanta Premier. By the way, champions of Nerd Street Gaming's, I believe, LAN that took place this weekend as well. So they're looking to cash in once more. But here we go. Heading into Storm Point, heading into into Apex Legends for the final time today. It's game number 6. We have 5 teams in the running trying to get their share of the $2,000 prize.
And Nerf is the only team to win 2 games, multiple games so far. 1 on World's Edge, 1 on Storm Point. They've been playing methodical throughout the night. A lot of different legends that you have to deal with, but they're sticking with what they know is successful for them. And again, Turns has played so many different legends throughout his career. The black hole that he shot out earlier when we had that Mobile 1 high performance moment helped secure that dub when they were going up against Atlanta Premier. And if you wonder, like, if they don't win that game and Atlanta Premier wins that game, that's a 6-point difference between that alone. There goes 50-50 happening for Sentinels. It's going to be a death hammer melee.
Oh,
you don't see that every day.
He breathes that one into with that finisher. Gets his armor up at least. There's some utility in doing that other than just the BM. But now Excedrin, they've got to be worried. Xenox is already on the flank here. On the left-hand side, he's got that Arc Star out for Sentinels, and they at least try and recover some sort of pride after the performance so far today. They really haven't been able to get much going at all. They're backing away, playing this one extremely safe, even bubbling to go for that 2-man peek. And they're still trying to hunt him down. There it is, the Valkyrie left on his ones. There we go. They're back off. Lou is down. This is way too close. Sentinels, come on.
This is tough, though. I mean, the thing is we're in a skirmish type of situation, and this team isn't really a skirmish team. Sentinels is, but that composition necessarily isn't. ESA and Oxygen both getting dropped. Tough situation to be in right there as Ragtech's gonna come in with the cleanup. ASR now looking like they're fighting over towards the down beast. And great shots there from Elbrily, but Reptar is already down. Slurpee G going with the res right there. Looks like a smart play to thirst that player, but it's just a little bait to try to get them back up on over towards the head glitch so you could lay down some extra damage. Slurpee needs to heal though, so they have to be fairly careful here as Mike and Ike has the major armor advantage.
Yeah, they're able to recover. They should be able to slow heal and just kind of take their time with this one. It does seem like the ring is pulling once again up to the northwest side. We'll see if it continues to pull up here towards the down beast. It might go a little bit further north to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up basically ending at the legs, essentially, of the down beast down there by the towers. Right now, though, Mike and Ike are not going to chase after this one. They do have that beacon to play after. ASR are able to play underneath for the time being as we get a better look at this ring, and this one is going to be a north pad one. Sentinels, we'll see if they can finish off the rest of Excedrin and maybe try and play off that beacon building.
It's taking a while though. Kimchi Lee putting up a fight. You can see the shots are being laid down. All of Sentinels looks fairly healthy, but this is the last game, and you don't really want to play as a duo. Yes, you do have Cruisen's banner, but you're hoping that you can go over there and try to get Kodagami's. You're also laying down all of this extra fire, so you potentially make noise and a third party comes. But we have the luxury of being able to see those player outlines, and Grief City, Bursty busting out the Revenant. Look out.
This is almost all the simulacrums, right? You have Ash along with the Revenant there. I don't know if there isn't a third one, right? Pathfinder doesn't quite count as it. I think he's just a robot, right? I don't know exactly what the lore is.
Yeah, he's a robot.
For Apex Legends, but it's almost there. I mean, Bloodhound does have kind of cybernetics, right? He's got the scan and all that, or they have the scan and all that, but G2 now looking for the fight. You see Designful does have his trusted wingman at the ready. Even though he's scanned, he is still just holding the angle now, and he's going to have to continue to hold it as Chaotic needs some time to heal up. There's only the Phoenix Kid here, and the Chaotic needs that more than him. Doesn't look like he's going to hand it off to him, so Chaotic is just struggling now as you've got that Ash coming in for the flank. Resulta gets the knock onto Borton. And so they don't have time to try and find the death protection, the death totem to put that one up. And here comes the third party, it seems like, out from Atlanta Premier. G2 need a response to this one.
Yeah, Atlanta Premier has been so smart in the way that they've gone about these fights. They come in at the last second and look like they're trying to get multiple kills from each team, which would be huge considering that they're in the running for first place. The push coming in from enemy. You know that they are fairly weak on the opposite side. They haven't had a chance to heal either because the Seer Q is going to go down, and you can see the teamwork coming through. Enemy waits for his teammates to go in front of him. He hits a cell along the way. Then the flank, and the teamwork just so good. Now Chaotic's the last person, second person to drop it. It's up to Resulta. He's not going to be able to do anything. The timing, the execution, but now C9 is here for the fourth party.
Oh boy, C9. Ooh, they're right on top of them. They do have that exhibit down, or no, they should. At the very least, as Naughty continues to try and chase after them. Armor Swap, it seems like, out, but Zach Mazer will find that angle onto Crook, taking him out. Is now down to a 3v2 as Naughty is trying his best to survive, getting that back cancel, unfortunately. Now the arcs are in, and he is forced to just try and challenge this one, stands his ground, and does enough damage to at least get the trade, so C9 will be able to walk away with that victory. Atlanta Premier are knocked out. How unfortunate. CLG on the verge of getting knocked out as well, and these are so many of our top 5 teams going down so early here.
So keep an eye on TSM, NRG, and Nerf. Those are the squads still in the running after 2 of our top 5 teams are either out or in complete shambles. What an interesting start. Typically, you see those teams play very, very safe as Bowser gets it canceled, his Q canceled, so he's not able to get back on over towards where Rakinishu is. And Mike and I trying to capitalize on that. The long-range snipe with the BK. All right, I see you, Wizard Coin.
Yeah, they finally give up that position on top of the down beast and try to play a little bit more aggressive here. They do have the armors to back that one up as well. Wizard Coin, nice one headshot really to get himself that purple, or he could just pick one up off the ground. Now they will try and chase after this Gibraltar. The bubble has been used. You don't overextend for this one. So Mike and Ike realizing maybe they have to play a little bit more for center zone here. Again, this was a squad that had an amazing night last night. They ended up coming in second place to CLG. They haven't been able to get much going here at all. Renegades, though, fighting over a building inside of North Pad. My big question is, which teams now have made their way here early on for that center zone?
And final games, typically, if you're new to watching, Series Z, they go fairly quickly. And this happens even, in any type of Apex tournament because the teams look at the math, they understand the situation, and say, hey, we either have to play very slow or put up an absolute monster game. And a majority of the teams, 15 teams here, need a monster game if they want to win. So expect a lot of fighting taking place, and then all of a sudden, once you get into that top 5 area, things are going to slow down immensely. Sentinels with the longbow there, nice shots from Lou. They've been in a power position ever since the beginning when they took that 50-50. C9 also on the run. Nice shots there from Naughty to try to keep Rocker alive. Rocker is the one with the gold knockdown shield too, so he's the one that's going to be able to, or you want him to be the one that gets the resist for the team, so he cannot afford to go down.
Yeah, they do back away to heal up at the very least, but they're still playing uphill, unfortunately, and continuing to give up more and more ground as they back away. There's an opportunity to just go ahead and hit the car and get out of there with a Trident now. They don't have the Gibraltar, but it's fine because, of course, the Trident does spread out that damage. So it's going to be much easier now as they go ahead and just get out of that bad spot. Really good call coming out from Sentinel, coming out from Cloud9. Sentinels, though, might get pushed here. They are facing off. It looks like a full 3v3 on either side. A Watson composition there. Do have the bubble down early along with the Nox gas grenade. Barrels coming in, and doesn't seem like the interception pylon is there as Sentinels are sneaking in this nades. Big crack with that frag grenade. Now they need to get the knock. Unfortunately, though, they haven't followed up on this damage quite yet. Now pushing forward, there is the first knock onto Renegades. POW going down. And Sentinels regrouping as the full 3. We'll see. They should at least be able to secure this thirst. I don't know if they can finish off this fight, though, as they actually recover that body and get him behind that door.
I'm surprised to see Lou play this one a little bit passive in terms of not using his ultimate, because what do you really need it for at this point? You could just chuck it and then force people to, you know, maybe scatter and force themselves inside or make some sort of weird play. I mean, I know that you're most likely not going to get any connects on that one, but I thought possibly he was going to use that. Either way, great job from Sentinels. Lou with the nade was such big damage, and then they came through, tried to avoid the Seer ultimate, and then avoid the thermite. All of a sudden, boom, knock, flush, and they're looking good. Alt Excel being popped here from Crust, but he has 2 barrels that he could use, potentially 3 popping up here very shortly. Expect him to toss them and cut off some more angles.
Yeah, the doors have not been griefed, so he can just go ahead and lock that one up once he gets them down. But you can see there are so many doors. He has to prioritize specific ones, and that's going to be interesting to see which ones exactly he wants to hold down. But at the very least, you know, they have dealt with a threat in a way. They haven't finished off the squad quite yet, but they alleviate a lot of that pressure at the very least. On board with Cloud9 now, who are starting to make their way up to that north pad area. They've got a bubble down on a Gibraltar. They want to get aggressive off of it. They've already hit the scan. Beast of the Hunt has been used as well. Rocker tries to stand his ground and almost gets punished for that one. But it looks like in the race for that kill, it's going to be Razor picking up that knock onto one member. NRG, though, now also rotating through. It looks like they're trying to just find some fights as they sled on down. They do have Sweet and Nathan ready. It looks like an ultimate Excel getting popped for Nathan. They are poised for this fight.
Renegades going out in 14th is NRG, TSM, and Nerf, the teams to watch currently, all fighting for that first place. Separated by just a couple of different decisions over here. Guild's got to be careful. I mean, he's got 8 cells at this point, 7 after he uses this one. But we have a long way to go, Jamerson, so this is where the interesting spot is, where if you start to run low on resources, you're going to be forced in a situation where you have to turtle or full send, and I don't think NRG's a turtling team.
Yeah, this is round 3. 13 squads remaining. It could be, I believe, 1 squad ratting this one out currently. So that probably accounts for the lost 2 players there. For NRG, though, like you said, they have to be a little bit careful about their resources, but if they take a teamfight win here on the edges, that's all they need to top off and then basically play for the end game. Already picking up a few kill points in the early game. Could look for a little bit more. They don't have to really risk things, but they don't know who's in and who's out right now because of anonymous mode. So they are still playing this one fairly cautiously. It looks like they will play the coastline for this ring, making their way on up, and they're able to take this nice little pit stop. Hey, you've even got the castle wall along with these death boxes. So we were saying maybe they need more resources. This is definitely going to work out for them.
So to clarify that, though, I think when the anonymous mode, Jamerson, when a team does get eliminated, it shows their team name in there. So they should have a feeling which teams have been eliminated, but they don't know a team like, for example, CLG, I think, still has, you know, maybe 1 or 2 members left on it that could be ratting it out. But the first team that was eliminated, I believe they knew who that is. CLG was able to recover, surprisingly. I have no idea. Maybe it was Mamba, and as soon as the caster curse is in full effect right now. I'm sorry, CLG.
Yeah, Smokes down and Excedrin now are going to try and force the issue here. We do have the Singularity coming on in for Excedrin. I don't know if they caught anyone with that, but the Arcstars will go ahead and get tossed in. Kimchi Lee needs to take the time to reload here. They don't catch anyone. So it's just going to be that thirst onto Mamba, and then they'll be able to top off with these heals. But they need to start getting in, and this is going to be an extremely hard gatekeep. You can see C9 already in position for that one now. Beast of the Hunt has been popped, and they find one on that scan. Zach Mazer as well is hunting him down. Now it's the final stand here. Demi going down. CLG down to 1 remaining member.
They've been down to one member before. Let's see if they can pull it out again. Not the ideal situation for a team that's played so well today. It's going to be Nano, and typically you want Mamba in this situation so he can recover the banners and get the free res with the drone. Excedrin playing this one out as a duo. They've been doing pretty well so far, but they wish they had Kodagami at this point, who had fantastic shots today. There's the knock onto Naughty. Round 3 is going to eat you alive, though. Cruisin getting the armor swap, but he doesn't have much HP overall, and now they have to cross this entire open field. Holy! Oh, I thought that was a purple armor. It was just a knockdown. I almost lost it.
Oh, man, that would have been great, but they at least secure the thirst on to Cloud9 as Kimchi Lee falls. Cruisin is the only one up now. For Team Intel, fighting at a checkpoint currently. Beast in the Hunt is popped for Rambo, and they get the knock onto Raps. TSM on the verge of getting knocked out here with only one placement point, really, but the fight is still coming out as they get one to knock, pushing forward, and Icy will fall as Rambo chases after Verholz, bringing him down, and Nerf is here for the gatekeep. TSM haven't gone out quite yet, but there they go, down in 10th place.
Wow.
Now Nerf controlling the south side. They have so many death boxes to play off of.
So the two teams to watch out for right now, NRG and Nerf. CLG was ratting it out. I'm not quite sure how far they're going to get because these two teams are in it to win it right now. NRG with a decent spot over towards this high ground. Nathan has been connecting so well with this flat line. 2X definitely a strong scope there overall. And the nice flank right there onto Sang. Oh, man, clean fight there from NRG, but they do lose all in one, and look at who's trying to capitalize. It's Nerf.
Yeah, Nerf trying to push forward, but they don't want to overextend here. We're only at top 8. So the placement points aren't even that high, but yeah, Petty Boss wants to send it. I love the new aggression that's come out from Petty Boss in the last, 6 months. It's been so refreshing to see right now as Team Nerf looks like they're still stopping the res so far. Horsey doesn't have his cube quite yet. The exhibit is there. They secure that thirst, and there's a knock onto Sweet. Now it's down to just one final member of NRG. Nerf go ahead and push the advantage. One more player remaining. The exhibit can be used just to try and hunt him down, but it doesn't even seem necessary as he's caught out in the open and backs away. He lives, but now he needs to try and rat this one out as a solo with almost no opportunity whatsoever to recover those banners and get him back in. NRG are out.
Now they know that was energy that they ended up pushing, and that has to feel good. That aggression from Petty Boss that you mentioned, Jamerson, really opened things up. You kind of sensed watching Turns and Force that they weren't interested in pushing that. Petty Boss was not playing around. He entered with complete confidence. That's what you were looking for. I may think that there is a member from CLG still alive, so if he could rat it out and do something phenomenal, that could end up working. But I'm not quite sure, so we'll have to get clarification on that. But now they're going to take over towards the skies, try to find a spot, and they may need to secure a couple more points. I'm not quite sure exactly where they stood on the overall leaderboard. It is questionable, though, and Lou shutting things down with the bow check bow.
We have a full setup. Watson, Newcastle down here, though. And, oh boy, Forty doesn't like what he sees whatsoever. He tanked one of the fences there. Z Davis ends up getting the knock onto Turns, and now Nerf are out. We're down to our final 6 squads, but we know that a number of them are still damaged. For Team Tyson, though, they're set up in such a beautiful spot there inside of the tunnels with the Watson traps, with the Newcastle walls, but it doesn't matter. The ring pulls away from almost all of our teams. I believe one squad is in position, though, to make that priority rotate.
How much of this zone is in the water? If you don't have a boat, you'd be absolutely done for. Nano has ratted it out the entire time.
Huge.
Could this be the winning play for CLG? This is where I'm glad that I'm not an admin, okay? Doing the math in this type of situation, it's going to come down to a point or two or even a tiebreaker.
Oh boy, and he's just hoping that there's no Sears looking in his direction right now. And luckily for him, I don't believe, Sentinels have that.
I don't think Sentinels has one.
Yeah, they're the closest one to him, and it seems like maybe everyone else is actually out of range for that, so they don't know he's behind them. The double time might help out in trying to make it into zone. You can see Sentinels going for the timing push. They hear them running away from all these traps, and they try to find the timing there, but the traps are slowing them down. And so Team Tyson trying to get that advantage, trying to get the priority on the rotate, but Blue is pushing out all that damage now. Arcstar in, chasing after them. Nox Gas Grenade has been tossed in as well. Don't get the critical knocks quite yet. Cresto is on the front lines, charging forward with that shield actually being used on the other side, and they're about to get a knock in just a moment. Bat out, it looks like, from Joey Blackout, but the flank, the pinch out as Sentinels back away, noting that the third party is there, and that's going to be ASR coming in with the flank to take out Tyson. But good job by Sentinels there for immediately responding to the third party.
And I believe Nano still lives too. Yeah, there's one rat still remaining, and it's 1,000% him. Slowly but surely, creepy crawling his way on over towards the zone. I wouldn't even count him out, man. He could still do some crazy stuff on this Bangalore. And without that many scan legends, if any scan legends, this is going to be huge for Nano.
Yeah, very few teams are going to be able to really respond to if a Rolling Thunder comes down, except for the lone Gibraltar here, so we'll see. Maybe you can play around the shield wall, the castle wall, but it looks like CLG were spotted out. Slurpee G from ASR takes him out. So now we're down to Complexity, ASR, and Sentinels. It's been a pretty rough day for Sentinels, but hey, they're about to finish it off with at least a top 3 here. Now you can see Complexity trying to position here on the outer edge. This is a little bit difficult for them because they are the first team basically on the outside that they have to push up with. Complexity are trying to build some space with Muffins right now, pushing forward for themselves. You can see one more in the back row there. They're just trying to keep them contained. Sentinels now, though. We've got the armor swaps to play off of just in case as they move forward now. ASR, we're trying to keep an angle on them, but we've got another 25 seconds before the zone even starts closing in, forcing Sentinels out.
We mentioned this earlier too, is that these teams are teams that have actually struggled today. Yes, ASR got a win, but without that win, they really wouldn't have many points. And Sentinels has had a very, very tough day. But this is what makes these teams pros and these players pros. They don't give up. They want to prove themselves. They know what they're capable of. And it's honestly not surprising to me to see them step it up in this final game because they don't want to leave Series E tonight with a bad taste in their mouth. They want to end on a dub.
They're actually expending a lot to try and get rid of the Newcastle walls on the other side, but still has about 5 mags behind them. Final ring closing in. The exhibit has gone down a little bit early there, but understandably so. They don't know exactly the teams are playing off of, but they do know now that Sentinels are going to be inside of that tunnel. ASR trying to play around the head glitch angles. They have a little bit of cover to kind of push forward with, and it's all about waiting out the first team to kind of push out first. It might be ASR and Sentinels at the same time. We'll see. Complexity do have that cross angle set up now. It's the final minute and 20 seconds. You can see how desperately ASR are trying to slow things down. Castle wall forward, but they're getting focused down.
Yeah, well, the castle wall is there, but he needs to put his Q down, too. I'm surprised that he hasn't done that yet. That is a little bit too late. I'm not quite sure why he didn't cut off the right-hand side. You could always move it. And now the damage is coming through, and that is a tough break. I mean, there was a lot of different options right there, but when you're the first team to rotate, it's absolutely tough. And Complexity now versus Sentinels for the final fight. It's a very close one, too, and looking like it's going to come down to a 1v1. Alba really somehow stayed alive throughout all this.
And he actually secures the win. ASR turtle up. Both teams just kind of turned onto each other. It seemed like they had an agreement to try and grief ASR. You saw the missile storm. You saw the defensive bombardment going down on top of them. But for the simple fact that they had to run into each other, ASR were able to kind of pull back for that one and fight back on in. So that's going to be a nice win to finish off the day for ASR.
2 wins for ASR on the day. 2 wins for Nerf. Slow start in World's Edge, but 2 out of 3 when it comes to Storm Point. You love to see it. That's your overall leaderboard. Not quite sure if that's completely updated, but you could see how close that is with Intel, Vizio, and Nerf. I believe Intel was in 3rd before the day started, so that could have been the overall updated one, but oof, what a day for Series E. What a pro night.
Yeah, and as you can see, it was a lot of our top 5 teams taking so many risky fights early on. Atlanta Premier was one of them, TSM as well. And so it was kind of just came down to who survives a little bit longer. Kill points, I don't think really, it might matter because it was so close amongst our top 4. I can't wait to join on board with the ASO, really, when we close out the show to find out who our top 2 teams are. I mean, it comes down to, of course, $2,000 on the line, only our top 2 place finish. These fights were just absolute chaos.
I just want to know how Al really lives throughout all of that, right? I mean, they were left for dead in the middle of the water. No life raft, there was zero chance that I thought that they were going to win that game after seeing what happened with the amount of damage that went down onto the Newcastle wall. But a lot of great plays from them on Storm Point especially has to feel good, because again, they had, you know, less than 10 points going in onto World's Edge. They put it together with some really strong performances. We saw everything that you would hope for. A lot of different legend compositions, a lot of different plays, great end circles. What a fun night.
Yeah, we mentioned it at the top of game number 6. We rarely have this close of a grouping amongst our top 5. It was within 10 points or something between the 10 of them. So, excuse me, between the 5 of them. So there was a lot of different ways this could have shaped out. I have no idea who might have been able to secure this one. It might be CLG. We'll see if it's going to be back-to-back for them. Remember, they took the win last night through open night, and we'll see if they can secure another $1,200 tonight. Let's go ahead and send it on over to Yeso, though, to see exactly who won. So, Yeso, go ahead and close out the show, bro.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jamerson. One of the tightest nights of competition we have seen in 5 seasons of Series E. The fact that, as you mentioned, we had 5 squads going into that last game very much in the hunt for first or second place. It was just 8 points that separated first place NRG from 5th place Nerf going into that final game. And of course, we were watching all of those squads, and the fact that we'll see when we go to the Mobile One leaderboard, a first place finish for a squad and only getting up to, you know, a lower amount of points than we're used to here today, it's huge. This is a very tight competition all night long. A lot of teams in the mix here, but it's ASR that grabbed the final win of the day. They grabbed their second on the day here, so a really good finish for the team. Nice little third party there from Alb to slide in at the end and pick up those final kills. Ends up with 1,200 damage and 4 kills to his name. So a nice 18-point performance here from ASR. Let's take a look at our final Mobile One high performance moment here for today's competition. Our final look at a highlight from today's action, and it's really this end circle. ASR able to set up the castle wall, and they just play it slow because Sentinels ultimately opt to go for the push onto Renegades. And of course, you know, Sentinels have to pick one way to go. They're caught in the middle, and Complexity throwing out rockets, kind of trying to poke away here at ASR, not let them get comfortable behind the castle wall, and the knock comes through onto Slurpee. But the problem is Sentinels opt to send it onto Complexity here, and amidst all of the chaos, right at the edge of the ring, ASR slides in. We get Alb all on his own, both of his teammates down. He comes in with the Volt, gets the cleanup, and grabs the win there. So ASR with just enough left in the tank to clean up this win, because you look at all of the damage that gets thrown on top of them, right? You see the castle wall partially broken here, rockets on top. We get the shots here with the longbow that secure the knock onto Slurpee, and you're looking at this and thinking, okay, they're done. It's going to be Sentinels or Complexity, but it's such a hard commit from Sentinels. It gets the complete and undivided attention here from Complexity that Alb is just able to sneak in, and there's no health to speak of on those remaining players. ASR gets the cleanup. They get the win to end the day. But the question really is, who ended up on top of our Mobile One leaderboard? Let's check it out here at the end of the day, and it's going to be NRG. 62 points. CLG, not quite enough there. 5 points back. If Nano had ratted out a little longer, maybe he could have been the Alper sliding in to clean up that last fight and a win, and it would have been back-to-back there for CLG. But NRG holds on. They get enough KP there and placement points in that final game to grab the win. But the fact that we have a first-place squad with only 62 points tonight just shows how competitive we were across all of these games. It was an intense night of Series E action here. I had a blast. I hope you did as well. I think we're doing our last giveaway in chat right around now. Thanks so much for everybody who came out. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure to stick around for the rest of Intel Week, because we'll have more stuff coming the rest of the week. No Guilty Gear Strive tomorrow. A lot of players headed out to East Coast Throwdown, to PAX West, so we hope they have safe travels and have a good time. But we'll have a little something going on our Twitch channel during that time, so you can come in and hang out and watch some Guilty Gear regardless. And of course, we end the week with Halo Infinite Pro Night on Friday, so don't miss out on that. All of that starts 4 p.m. Pacific time, as always, at twitch.tv youtube.com/esports arena. My name is Jay, so it's been a pleasure here to host for you all tonight. I hope you had a blast. Congrats to NRG and CLG, our top 2 finishers here tonight. I look forward to more from you guys very, very soon. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew, and everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We'll see you again later.